interviews for the Bills head coaching position, and today the Bills reportedly have 2 interviews going on. First one with former Miami head coach Mike McDaniel, who, if he does not get this job or really any other head coaching job, will be the Chargers offensive coordinator. And then as well, they are reportedly interviewing former quarterback Phillip Rivers. We'll keep you posted on when these become official, and then some other interviews that are coming over the weekend. On Saturday, Commanders run game coordinator Anthony Lynn and former Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. Then on Sunday, it's expected to be Jags offensive coordinator Grant Yadinsky. For an update look at all the candidates, we do have a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. We do have some coordinator news around the NFL. The Chiefs are officially bringing back Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator. Matt Nagy is out. It does appear he is attempting to go get a head coaching position in this cycle. And then we've got 2 games on Sunday. It is championship weekend. The AFC Championship up first at 3, New England at Denver. Then 6:30, the NFC Championship, the Seahawks host the Rams. Westwood One's coverage is going to be right here on WGR beginning at 3. To the Sabres, they got another win last night. Just practiced today, though. No Dahlin on the ice, but head coach Lindy Ruff says he is confident Dahlin will play tomorrow, as it appears today was just a maintenance day. They are at the Islanders tomorrow. Alex Lyon is expected to get the start. Game time at 1, pregame at noon, and we'll get more on the Sabres at 4:30 when Paul Hamilton joins the show. And then in college hoops, UB men, they host UMass tonight at 7. That game can be heard over on the Bet 1520. UB attempting to end a 4-game skid in conference. And then before that, at 5:30, the Bonnies, they are hosting number 24 ranked St. Louis. That game is going to be over on ESPN2 for television purposes. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
My dad's not here right now. He's still at work. So I'm going to blast him.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I'm going to see if there's a clean version so that my parents and the people at my school will not get mad at me. We've got the spritzer filled with water, just in case if stuff gets too fire. I'm going to set up the speaker, and I'm going to listen to
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
I think this is the best
Mike Schopp
feature that I've heard in a long time. I think his flow is really good in it, and I like his aggressiveness on it, and
the Bulldog.
Put not enough effort in it. I think overall his flow was good, but I don't like that mumble rapping. That was my review of
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Didn't need the spritzer. Wasn't fire enough. No spritzer for you. No spritzer.
Hello, happy Friday. The days are getting longer. Someone might have their golf notebook out, checking majors, winners over the years.
Golf. We got golf on the TV
Golf
here.
on the TV.
It's yesterday's golf, but whatever. It's all the same to us. I didn't watch this yesterday.
Now it's today's.
Oh, it is? They are. Well, great.
Just started. Today's just started.
Even better.
The sun just came up on today's golf.
I would not have known the difference.
The sun is out here.
Great. Well, I would have, when I look at the leaderboard and it says, second round, then I would have realized.
That's Bulldog. You know him already. He's been on the air a long time. He hates the song American Pie. But
that's right. What a thing to lead the show with.
Just wanted to make sure everybody knew who they were dealing with.
Yeah, that's me.
Wearing a chicken dinner shirt.
Oh,
that's not pandering at all.
Gotta rep the guys.
I can't get one now.
You could get a different. You could get
one.
You could get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Or a different
I can't
color.
wear it in.
There's different colors.
Imagine we both wear a chicken dinner shirt to work on the same. We match.
That would be tough.
I can't risk that.
Okay.
I like them, but I can't risk
I think you're right. I bought a hoodie at a brewery back in the fall. It was a little small brewery on the Lower West Side of the city, and a friend of mine had already bought one, but I wanted one, and I bought it, and then realized I'm just going to go home and give this to my wife. Because same thing, like I can't. You would have met this guy, I think, at the party. He was at the party. He and his wife.
Jeremy?
It was not Jeremy, but it's not like we're in the same room. Maybe it's a half a dozen times a year that we're in the same room, but still, you can't risk that. So I got home like, yeah. Jeff's got this hoodie. I'll get here. It's I got it. It was here, honey. You can have a hoodie, and she loves it. And it's totally fine if like they run into each other. I think that's different.
I'm starting my research officially today. My campaign, I'm here to announce my candidacy for winning the Masters golf bet in April.
All right.
By having my notebook out. And I'm watching Blades Brown very closely to see if maybe I want to include him in my pick 10.
Blades Brown.
I don't know.
Is a guy?
8 under through 7.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I know. Yeah, well.
Wow. All right.
This is just the beginning
Blades
phase.
Brown.
Philip Rivers is a name.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Mike McDaniel, Philip Rivers. You know, we're sort of like not sparring, but kind of like throwing shots by each other about Mike McDaniel in the last few months. And here he is now, after signing up to be the Chargers offensive coordinator, interviewing with the Bills to be the head coach. So this is is this a new thing where...
I was going to say, this year, this feels new to me, where teams, sorry, I don't mean to take over here, but right, we're in agreement. Brian Flores is returning as our defense coordinator.
Unless
he gets a head coaching job. And this McDaniel thing is the same thing. And I don't recall that ever happening before. I mean, I know coordinators that are in jobs are, obviously, nobody's going to block them from going to interview for a head coaching job. But to agree as long as just seems, that seems new to me this year. I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, I think we've talked about whether these candidates have to decide whether to, quote, settle for an assistant job before, the head coaching jobs dry up. It seems like now you don't have to worry about it.
I wonder what kind of timeline a team like the Vikings, that's where Flores was and is reportedly going to stay unless he gets a head coaching job. Same with McDaniel, the Chargers. I wonder what kind of timeline they give a guy like that. Like how because what are the Chargers doing? The Chargers are standing still for now, hoping that Mike McDaniel becomes their offensive coordinator. But if the Bills want to hire him as their head coach and he wants to do it, then they're back in line looking for an offensive coordinator. And I wouldn't like that even as a fan, let alone the team. Like if the Bills were in the market for just an offensive coordinator this offseason.
And they hired him.
And Mike McDaniel was the choice. Like, you know what? Sean McDermott, I've always wanted to work with Mike. I respect how hard it is to scheme against his offenses. I think it's going to be a real great thing to have for us. And he's going to take the job, unless the Jets call. What? Like, I'm settling into all right, I got my guy, but not really. I don't know. That seems weird to me.
In the name of fairness for the coaches, you could end up, if it didn't work like that, you could just end up being frozen out. And you're hoping for, what's Matt Nagy at this point? Is he sort of hoping for Arizona or somebody to hire him? And if they don't, I don't know what's left for him. But, that's also, I guess, in the present. McDaniel... It's good for the people. It's good for the individuals.
It's good for the coaches for sure. Yeah, maybe Nagy ends up with the Chargers if Mike McDaniel ends up here. I don't know, but it's another layer of the musical chairs that we get at this time of the year that I don't recall ever experiencing before.
Well, I have 8 names as a list of people the Bills plan to talk to, and that does not include Clint Kubiak, who they can't make that official until Seattle plays on Sunday, or Davis Webb, Denver, same situation, right? Or Mike McCarthy. I don't see his name on my list.
Why didn't you mention my guy in L.A.?
Nathaniel Shielhouse.
There you are. Thank you.
I was just about to say Nathaniel Shielhouse.
He's not on the list either. Yeah, those teams, somebody needs, anybody who loses can be talked to then right away.
Okay.
But if they advance to the Super Bowl, then you got to wait another couple of weeks.
What do you have to say about what has gone into this particular list of names? Like Philip Rivers. What is that? Is that a favor to him, to his agent? Is that for real? For reals? Is that for reals, Philip Rivers? Is that maybe something that possibly could happen? Have you seen the betting odds today?
I have not seen the betting odds today.
All right. Want to play?
Sure.
So keeping in mind that this is more just we're trying to bring on action, who is the betting favorite to be the Bills' hire?
I'm going to say that is probably, I think it had been for a while. I'm going to guess it still is Brian Daboll.
Yes. Plus 150. Who's second? By a lot. Big gap between second and third.
Who is second? I'm going to say Clint Kubiak is second.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers is second.
Who wrote this? Who are the ad wizards that came up with this one?
Wow, 2 days in a
Phillip
row with
Rivers, you can only get 2-1 on his being hired as the Bills coach at betonline.com.org.ca.
And there's a big gap to the third choice.
Brady is 7-1. Right. Like Brady, everybody outside, buy this. I don't even know. Like I don't, BetOnline is offshore. I like that they send us email. It's useful content.
Mm-hmm.
There was a day when I was in the offshore streets or waters, if you prefer. But who decided Daboll is 3-2, Rivers is 2-1, Brady is 7-1? Anybody other than Daboll and Phillip Rivers is like good price. You know?
Yeah.
Davis Webb, Clint Kubiak, they're all like 7, 8, 10-1.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly what they're doing or what is motivating them, but I'm not inclined to get the least bit upset or make the least bit of fun of them.
The website?
No, the Bills.
Oh, okay.
As funny as seeing Phillip Rivers' name floated as taking a head coaching interview with the Bills might be, for a variety of reasons. No small part being that he just played for the Indianapolis Colts like a month ago, which is just incredible. Cast your net. Talk to as many. There's no harm in talking to, unless you're worried about people making fun of you. But I don't know. I mean, Wednesday was its own thing, and there was a lot to poke at. And I guess in a certain way, nationally, the Bills have put themselves in a position to be laughed at even more if everyone thinks talking to Phillip Rivers is hilarious. But I don't think it's that hilarious. Go talk to the guy. You don't know. You don't know. And you might get something out of it, even if you don't work with him.
I'd pay $20 to find out whose idea it was.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I read that he and Alan share an agent.
Well,
so there's a relationship there. So maybe that's all it is. Maybe Alan said, you want me to come along in the life raft or in the main in the captain's quarters, whatever. I'm on this trip, right? I'm going to be in the room for all of this. Talk to my guy. If indeed he's his guy, I don't know. I mean, they share an agency. That doesn't have to mean that they're friends, but it might. They probably have been at events together where
sure.
agents get their clients together and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't think it's hilarious. It might be a really tough sell if they were to actually hire Phillip Rivers.
Tell me about that.
But I don't think there's any harm in talking to him.
What would it sound like? How would it go over if they did that? Even as like coordinator, maybe would it seem ridiculous if they did that? You want a first time, not you necessarily.
Yeah.
You want a first time candidate. You want somebody young. He's not even as young as some of these other coaches, but still, you want somebody fresh, right? Does he qualify as fresh? Phillip Rivers, maybe.
I think so. I mean, as a coach, yeah. I think they get dunked on mercilessly if they hire Phillip Rivers.
Really?
I'm just saying I don't think there's any harm in talking to him.
Versus one of these younger coordinator types, you think?
I think one of these younger coordinator types, I think all the talking heads on TV line up and just lay out the guy's resume and what a rising star he was, and the Bills get in line with other teams like the Chicago Bears and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who found last year's flavor of the month from the coordinator pool, and they're hoping to strike the same kind of guy. I can write this for Ian Rappaport if he wants. He probably doesn't need my help. They probably have 20 people.
No, the agent's
that write
right
for him. Yeah, right. So they don't need me, but that's what that says when it happens. So I don't think that gets laughed at if they hire a first-time coordinator, because lots of teams have been doing that.
Well, I think it's kind of fun. It's maybe also funny. But who's to say that however many years older even that he is versus like Davis Webb or Udinsky, that Phillip Rivers wouldn't know just as much as those guys. I mean, calling plays, he's been through it. He's lived it for 20 years. Scheming an offense, he hasn't been the coordinator, but Rivers is, if any quarterback could be this, but he's sort of like the type that you think is sort of in charge of everything. Like he comes off as almost manic in that way. Not necessarily perfect.
I would
great,
expect
but
that he would have had a lot of say in what they did game planning wise when he was with the Chargers.
Yeah.
I don't know about, this last
Me too.
this last run with the Colts here.
Me too.
Yeah.
What about leadership? Davis Webb. Forget whether, he and Allen are BFFs. Just like, all right, well, what does he know? Played the position in the NFL, barely, but did. Coached under Sean Payton. Backed up Josh Allen. Like, he has certain connections. And then, you're going to maybe like his personality. I know nothing about it. He has enough fans in the space that are selling him as a possibly realistic idea. But that can be very political. Still, like, who knows? I don't know anything about this guy except those things. Phillip Rivers, however, has been on the stage. Not like Davis Webb. Nobody could tell you if that's Davis Webb standing next to them in line at the bathroom. Phillip Rivers has been on the stage for decades. Like he's rocked it. So I don't know. Does that mean anything? Does that maybe put him as somebody more credible than a third-string guy that maybe has a good smile and a good name and knows the right people? Not to condescend, I don't know. Like maybe it should. maybe it should allow for him to be taken seriously in this.
I think my experience, this is not 100%. What is 100% correct across the board? But my experience with players in all, well, I don't say all sports. I've mostly dealt with hockey players and football players because I do this job in Buffalo. Respect guys who've done it on the biggest stage. So there is, to me, a level of authority and credibility with the players. Okay, I'm not talking about, again, out here, right? The national or even the local talk shows. The players, I think, would, two candidates, they don't know the names, and you've got the resumes up of their playing careers. The average player in the league is going to gravitate to the guy with Phillip Rivers is his resume. They're going, that guy, look at that. The guy's done everything. He didn't do literally everything. He didn't win a Super Bowl, just like we haven't.
Or make one.
Or even make one, right. So, yeah, he's
perfect.
He's sort of like 8 years into Allen's career. There might start to become a comp there even. I don't know. That could happen. I think it's already been out there. As much as McDermott was Marty Schottenheimer, it's convenient. They're both Chargers, at least for large stretches of their careers. Anyways, I think players buy Phillip Rivers before he even says a word, more than they buy the other guys, Udinsky or Davis Webb or anybody. They're an easier sell. Now what is that worth? Beyond that, you got to have the goods and you got to produce and you got to help make everybody better and all the stuff that goes into being a coach, which is I didn't even scratch the surface of what it entails. But credibility wise, you're in the lead, or you've almost lapped the field, I think, at inception because of the resume. Even though it's only a player and he's only coached high school at this point.
It's wild. It's fun.
It is. It is.
Phillip Rivers. The other team's like, wait, is that something we could have done?
Right. He's coach.
Is he interested?
He wants to coach.
Is he interested at all? Like maybe Tennessee or Arizona is going, all right, well, what's the harm?
Put a call in.
Mike McDaniel. I was listening this morning.
It's growing on me a little bit.
And, okay, I'm excited to hear more. I was listening this morning, and Joe started to talk about Mike McDaniel by his last name. Like, he must mean McDaniels, New England, because Mike McDaniel was hired by L.A. And it wasn't until an hour later that I realized, wait a minute, no, this is actually right. And the Bills went to Florida. Smart.
Yeah.
They went They went to Florida. I mean, much of the country, if not most of the country, is going to be, hammered by weather in the next few days. But, it's Buffalo. They got out. They went to Florida. We'll do our meetings here. Maybe there's a super yacht. Try to make it work down there. Mike McDaniel, he is my favorite candidate of all of them. And I resent the continuing slander that somehow he is less than as a coach based on, overtly the results of the Miami Dolphins, or more subtly how he dresses or how he, wears his hair or anything, or how he talks, anything like that. I am absolutely a fan and an advocate for this guy, and he's a great example, in my opinion, of how stereotypes can really play a large role in how these people are perceived. McDaniel, for the last 2 years, has been written off halfway through the seasons, losing seasons for Miami, at the time at least, as somebody that could not, well, I guess I was right. He can't be trusted as a leader. He's not serious. He's not the way Sean McDermott would be perceived. No disrespect to Sean, but clean cut, talks about God, these kinds of things. Here's McDaniel, who's completely different, outwardly at least, than McDermott, and, well, we can't really take him seriously. Well, he won more games than he lost in Miami. He had 2 seasons in a row that went completely sideways, and he did not, by their results, lose the locker room or anything like that. They hung in there. In Miami, where nobody seems to respect the quarterback, or maybe the owner. Maybe not an easy job. So I'm for Mike McDaniel. I never thought, and I still don't think the Bills will hire him because they beat up his teams. You can't really do that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for the best for him.
Well, I appreciate all of that. The one-loss record is inarguable, and I admit to not even really realizing that last year was as similar to this year. Because last year is really the year that was, no people aren't showing up. Like it sounded like an insurrection was going on down there. And that was a narrative that carried through the summer that I talked about a lot coming into the season. It's part of the reason I thought they were going to implode. And then the season began, and it looked like they were going to implode, but then they didn't. And I think that is to be respected, that they held together there. But the lack of discipline stuff did happen. It's all on the record almost, I believe, from 2 years ago. I don't think that was the case last year, and that also is to his credit. I always sort of wanted him to work, but I think the stereotype is a big deal. I think that works against a guy in that world. That's why I thought when he got the job, as much as I can root for the guy that's the head coach of the Miami Dolphins to work, because style-wise, I would like it to work. I'd like the league to open itself up enough to accept that a guy that has, he's wearing capri pants and sandals and maybe vaping or whatever, like he can do the job. But I worry about him in front of a room full of football players, like buying it, because of what they're used to. And they're more used to the guy that's like McDermott than they are the guy that's got the aviator shades on.
Well, that's when it becomes a person's task to win them over, to convince them that they're credible. And unlike when he was hired in Miami, and that went pretty well for a while, he has 4 years of that and decent results under his belt now. So it should be easier for somebody to give him that benefit of the doubt than it probably was when he was hired there. Well, a couple of new fun and exciting entries to the Bills coaching search. What a week. Sam Panayotovich coming up. Bulldog dressed for it. The chicken dinner sweatshirt. Or as we say in my house, sweatshwirt. Because my daughter said that, and we let her, one of those times where you let the kid say the thing wrong forever because it's so funny.
Okay, all right. Sweatshwirt?
My daughter's was sweatshwirt, and my son's was ibuprofen when he needed medicine. So everything in my house, it's ibuprofen and sweatshwirt, and that's with love. That's with love. Sam Panayotovich coming up. Need I say so? Tyler Dunn and Paul Hamilton as well today. Another fun Sabres win last night. Easy game. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Thanks for joining us. It is Friday, and we'll be right back. This is WGR. List of people the Bills plan to talk to. And that does not include Clint Kubiak, who they can't make that official until Seattle plays on Sunday, or Davis Webb, Denver, same situation, right? Or Mike McCarthy. I don't see his name on my list.
Why don't you mention my guy in L.A.?
Nathaniel Shielhouse.
There you are. Thank you.
I was just about to say Nathaniel Shielhouse.
Yeah, he's not on the list either. Yeah, those teams. Somebody needs. Anybody who loses can be talked to then right away.
Okay,
but if they advance to the Super Bowl, then you got to wait another couple of weeks.
What do you have to say about what has gone into this particular list of names? Like Phillip Rivers. What is that? Is that a favor to him, to his agent? Is that for real? For reals? Is that for reals, Phillip Rivers? Is that like maybe something that possibly could happen? Have you seen the betting odds today?
I have not seen the betting odds today.
All right, want to play?
Sure.
So keeping in mind that this is more just like we're trying to bring on action, who is the betting favorite to be the Bills' hire?
I'm going to say that is probably, I think it had been for a while. I'm going to guess it still is Brian Daboll.
Yes. Plus 150. Who's second? By a lot. Big gap between second and third.
Who is second? I'm going to say Clint Kubiak is second.
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers is second.
Who wrote this? Who are the ad wizards that came up with this one?
Wow, 2 days
Phillip Rivers, you can only get 2-1 on his being hired as the Bills coach at betonline.com.org.ca.
And there's a big gap to the third choice.
Brady is 7-1. Right. Like Brady, everybody outside, buy this. I don't even know. Like I don't, BetOnline is offshore. I like that they send us email. It's useful content. There was a day when I was in the offshore streets or waters, if you prefer. But who decided Daboll is 3-2, Rivers is 2-1, Brady is 7-1? Anybody other than Daboll and Phillip Rivers is like good price.
Yeah.
Davis Webb, Clint Kubiak, they're all like 7, 8, 10-1.
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly what they're doing or what is motivating them, but I'm not inclined to get the least bit upset or make the least bit of fun of them.
The website?
No, the Bills.
Oh, okay.
As funny as seeing Phillip Rivers' name floated as taking a head coaching interview with the Bills might be for a variety of reasons. No small part being that he just played for the Indianapolis Colts like a month ago, which is just incredible. Cast your net. Talk to as many. There's no harm in talking to, unless you're worried about people making fun of you. But I don't know. I mean, Wednesday was its own thing, and there was a lot to poke at. And I guess in a certain way, nationally, the Bills have put themselves in a position to be laughed at even more if everyone thinks talking to Phillip Rivers is hilarious. But I don't think it's that hilarious. Go talk to the guy. You don't know. You don't know. And you might get something out of it even if you don't work with him.
I'd pay $20 to find out whose idea it was.
I read that he and Allen share an agent.
Well,
so there's a relationship there. So maybe that's all it is. Maybe Allen said, you want me to come along in the life raft or in the main in the captain's quarters, whatever. I'm on this trip, right? I'm going to be in the room for all of this. Talk to my guy. If indeed he's his guy, I don't know. I mean, they share an agency. That doesn't have to mean that they're friends, but it might. They probably have been at events together where
sure.
agents get their clients together and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't think it's hilarious. It might be a really tough sell if they were to actually hire Phillip Rivers.
Tell me about that.
But I don't think there's any harm in talking to him.
What would it sound like? How would it go over if they did that? Even as coordinator, maybe would it seem ridiculous if they did that? You want a first time, not you necessarily.
Yeah.
You want a first time candidate. You want somebody young.
Not to run or be scared of what may or may not happen. Certainly I think of my sons and those ball players. That I'm in charge of at the school. That they'll say crap, coach wasn't scared. You know what I mean? It's like, shoot. Sometimes there is doubt. And it's real. The guaranteed safe bet is not go for it. The other one is, shoot, let's see what happens.
Crap, shoot. Crapshoot. Phillip Rivers, official Bills coaching candidate, apparently. There he is. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. With us now, co-host of the Chicken Dinner podcast, longtime stalwart in the sports betting space, meat smoker aficionado, Sam Paniotovich with us. And here's Bulldog today kissing up to you with the Chicken Dinner shirt, Sam. So good for you. I mean, that's a statement he's making right there.
Very happy. That is also, I can confirm, that is the largest Chicken Dinner hoodie ever produced.
No, take it easy. The website had 4 and 5 XL there.
They just haven't made it.
They just went, maybe nobody's asked for them. Okay, so yeah, I went roomy. So yeah, no doubt. And Sam, I don't know. I feel like I love Sam. Sam's been to my house already.
Here we go.
I don't know how much I need to suck up to Sam. This is more for Joe, but it didn't come until today, so I couldn't wear it yesterday.
Well, I appreciate it. Also, can we make this quick? I got an interview with the Pagulas in about 20 minutes for the head coaching job.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like you're pretty busy playing Keno at a Connecticut diner somewhere, drinking a Coke by your Twitter.
Yeah, we've had a couple days here. I did the Dan Patrick show yesterday. Dan's a friend and did the gambling podcast too. It's been a fun ride over there. We've been doing that stuff for a few years now. I also, the elephant in the room. I still, it's all a dream, right? Like we're gonna wake up and that ball's a catch, right, Bulldog?
Man. This is it's time for the postmortem from Sam.
I guess
think.
Right. Yeah, you went dark right after. We were in touch during the game, and then the loss happens. Is this how it goes? I didn't want to reach out to you. I knew there had to be some pain. I don't know how severe it was, but I know you were invested. I was more emotionally invested, and just sort of let it go. And no, it wasn't a catch, Sam. So sadly,
Okay.
Officially,
yeah, officially, and I think they got it right. But that doesn't make me the most popular man in town.
Sam, how did they lose?
Because they turned it over 5 times. That's it. I don't know what else to say. And yet, if you need any proof that they were the better team, they turned it over 5 times and still went to overtime and still could have, should have, would have won. It's so frustrating. Josh had to be superhuman. And I think you guys have chronicled this enough. The roster is clearly not as good as Seattle's or Denver's or New England's or whatever, but they had the best quarterback. But the issue when you have a flawed roster, he can't afford a game like that when they don't protect the ball. But I'd rather lose, guys. I'd rather lose 58-0 than lose 33-30 in overtime. That's the worst. And then one of my buddies that I split a bet with, we both bet 1,000 at 10-1 on Buffalo. He texted me right when the clock struck 0, and he says, "Well, thanks for that bet. I could have killed him." Literally,
No, right.
Like, don't do that to me. I lost more, and I feel worse because for 4 months I've been telling everybody I know to bet the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
Don't do that to anybody.
No, right.
Turn off the TV, turn off the lights, turn off the phone, and just, sulk,
right.
I guess.
Like,
It's
I
the
even
only-
felt bad, Sam. We talked about this last week, right? The Oregon-Indiana national semifinal begins, and the first play from scrimmage is a pick 6. And I think I texted you, like, uh-oh. And I even felt bad after I hit send there. Like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
No, but you're a good friend. I didn't even take it that way. But when the kick is still in the air, Bulldog, Will Lutz just kicked the ball, and it's like, nice bet, bitch. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Come on.
That's tough. Yeah.
Never do that.
That is tough.
Well, you kind of said it, Sam, how we talked about this team all through the season in our conversations on our show and yours. It was always hard. It was always so hard for them, and anybody could understand the Josh Allen point that when you have the best player at the most important position by far, your odds are pretty good. And they were so close to being, might they even have been favored Sunday in New England had they won the game in Denver? Maybe yes, but they did live on the edge. And whether it's turnovers or just not being able to get stopped. Remember you saying early in the season after one of their losses, who wins the Super Bowl as a team that can't get stops? And they weren't so bad toward the end, but they still did give up 33 points. Like, it was, as you know, I'm not telling you anything I think you didn't know, but it was not a perfect team.
No, not at all. But I thought, going into October, you looked at the roadmap. It was clear that Burrow wasn't going to make it. It didn't look good for Mahomes, and it didn't look good for Lamar. And if you play the math out going forward, that will never happen again. Like, as long as Josh plays in this league, there will never be a chance without those 3 guys. It just won't happen mathematically. It just can't happen. So this was a very, 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 very good chance, and it'll only get tougher going forward. But man, like I said, when you play that poorly and you protect the football that poorly, and you still got a chance, like, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
I bet them live at 7-3 because I thought it was starting to look like they were the much superior team. And then I bet them late when they were losing also, thinking like, whatever.
7-3 is before the first turnover because they're driving, right? Cook fumbled.
Right.
Like, they're at the 30-yard line thinking like, 14-3. Like, my head was already racing. I had bet them up, Sam. I think I don't know if I texted you exactly what I did, but I liked them so much Saturday morning, I bet them -9.5.
Oof.
I thought they were going to win. And so at 7-3 driving before Cook fumbles, I'm like, see? And it's really early to say see, but like I was feeling like, all right, this is gonna be that game. I felt it. I said it Friday night late in our show.
You thought they'd win easily?
I thought they'd win comfortably. We would have our feet up in the second half. But
I was
obviously
sitting at the bar. Yeah, I was at the bar, and we started to do rally shots when it got ugly early, and I think one of the guys next to me, and you only imagine the guys that I hang out with, right? He hands me his phone. Like, I'm watching him type in something on his phone, and he's got his tongue out like Michael Jordan, right? His tongue is hanging out of his mouth as he's doing something on his phone. And then he shows me what he did. He bet $2,000 on the Bills' second half, which did win.
Right.
But he's like, they're the better team. And I think the Bills were getting like 5.5 in the second half or something like that. And he popped it, and he popped it good, and that ended up coming home. But I couldn't get out of bed the next day, guys. And then, to make things worse, I decided, what's better than feeling this bad? I'm going to watch the Four Falls of Buffalo on 30 for 30 right now. I watched that on Sunday morning. Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, pain.
Well, we lived that. We lived that.
Yeah, that's not a ride I need to take again.
Sam Panayotovich with us. So how about Sunday? I feel very strongly about both games. I like Denver with the points. I don't think there's a big quarterback drop-off. The bye week still has residual effects. New England and their competition, I don't know. They can turn it over.
Their left tackle can't block anyone one-on-one, and
there are reasons.
That could be trouble.
There are reasons where you don't have to love them. And you've been there this year, at least early in the season, and I think Seattle is just too good. So I'm on the one seeds.
Yeah, I get it. I only made one bet straight. I bet Denver. We took 5.5 a couple days ago. That's gone. It's now 4.5 everywhere. So I got a good number. Not that always matters, but I agree. So my number with Knicks is Denver -1. Okay, so Knicks to sit him is 6 points? Nah, not for me.
Okay.
So I'm willing to find out. I get the better O-line. I get the better D. I'm at home. I get Sean Payton. Yeah, I took 5.5, and then I also did a two-team 6-point teaser. I went Broncos +11.5 and Rams +8.5.
Do you like the Rams in the game?
It's such a coin flip, Mike. Honestly, it is. I mean, did you watch the first two games? They landed 1 and 2, right? That was the deficit in both games. 1-point win, 2-point win. Here's what I did do. I bet Puka Nacua. You know I like Nacua, Mike.
Yes.
I bet him to win the Super Bowl MVP this morning at 17-1. Obviously, they have to win the game, but here's where we're at. If they do win, if the Rams beat Seattle, which is very possible, it's a coin flip game, he's going to be 4 or 5-1 in the Super Bowl to win the MVP. So I kind of tried to get ahead of that one at 17-1.
Lest we forget, that's not your first Super Bowl MVP bet.
I know.
Oh, right. What's our action? We got Emin Worry?
Yeah.
Did we do that?
Yep.
Yeah, Mike's texting me like, "Hey, can you make this bet at 500-1?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, Mike, I got you."
And you did.
Yep. All right.
Well, it was Joe's idea. Joe brought it up last Thursday, but he doesn't answer his phone. Like, he doesn't respond right away to me many times, as much as I like him. So we played the Sam card. Like, hey, do you have this? And Sam, you can't resist a fun idea like as fun as this.
You know, from my standpoint, well, you don't know this. I'm going to tell you why. Like, for me, that was my guy in the draft.
Yes.
The guy was dreaming of the Bills drafting him. I just thought he'd be exactly what he is, like a Kyle Hamilton joker all over the field. Like, let me see McDermott and Babbage turn this guy loose. That would be really an impactful player for their defense, and they didn't do it. And he's in Seattle, and he's awesome. So
let's go.
We got a great number. I assure you, there's no 500-1 left on him and Worry. So I would guess by the time we get to the game, and of course we have to get through the weekend, but if Seattle's in the Super Bowl, Emin Worry is going to be probably 70 or 80-1, and we're holding 500.
Who even remembers who the Super Bowl MVP was the year Seattle beat Denver? They won the game.
Wasn't that Malcolm Smith?
Malcolm Smith. They won the game.
I remember, Mike.
Yeah, no, very good. Of course you would. I mean that as a compliment, of course. 43-8. What a great score. Like, when you win a Super Bowl, you want to win 43-8. And Malcolm Smith, and that is exactly what I thought was possible here, is that it's the better conference, their defense can be dominant, and somebody's going to score. Mm-hmm. And if Darnold throws for 160 and JSN goes 5 for 71, who are you going to pick? I mean, that's what happened in that game.
Right.
So I know it's Seattle. It's just too easy, but
he picks up a couple of sacks and a pick six. That's your runway.
That's it.
Right.
And did he not have a score called back in the game on Saturday against San Francisco? At one point I looked up and he was running with the ball.
Yeah,
but I don't think it counted.
I didn't really. We got done with post game on Saturday, and we play interviews at the end of post game. I work from home, Sam. I had the fastest lift show up at my house. We got done. There was 8 minutes of interviews or something to run. I turned my gear off, hit send lift. It showed up so fast. I'm pretty sure I was at the bar before our show was actually over, and that game was over, and I I took a lift and I was doing shots.
I didn't realize
I
you get ride shares.
I did not watch Saturday night. I did. I just thought I don't want to go out this late in this weather, and I didn't know how long I'd be there, and it turned out I was smart to not drive.
Okay,
so,
good.
Anyway, so I didn't have eyes on that game, is what I'm telling you, because it was crooked from the minute I watched it. So
I don't remember the game because I did about between the end of the first quarter and 10 minutes after the game, I did about 12 shots of Jameson. And then I had to go back the next day to get my credit card at the bar.
Oh, one of those.
That's a good time.
One of those.
That feels good.
Sam, the Sabres have won, I think, 17 out of 21.
I was looking at Lindy for Coach of the Year, 7-1. Is that a good bet or no?
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
I don't. I haven't thought about this once. I don't know the other candidates, but anybody who gets this team to like a good season would be live, because it's like that's how you win coach. Nothing against Lindy. That's how you win Coach of the Year in sports, is no expectations. And this team did the greater service of having a bad start that got the GM fired. So he's even got an in-season turnaround. He could be the comeback Coach of the Year if they have that.
You could still bet it. I bet 7-1. I bet a nickel to win 3,500. I think it's a really good bet. It's a good story. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if 7's available, but you could definitely find a 6. I saw a 6 like 10 minutes ago. So that's what I did this week on Buffalo. Right.
You're right back at the table.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Look at you. Yeah.
Local.
Buffalo pilled, completely dyed in the wool. Can't bet that in New York State, but. We might find somebody who could help us with that. Good idea.
Text me after the show.
Thank you, Sam.
See you guys.
Have a weekend, bud.
Sam Panayotovich, Chicken Dinner. You can find it on YouTube. We'll talk to Tyler Dunn coming up at 4. His reaction to Sean McDermott's firing and the Bills' season ending, the coaching search, all of it. Paul Hamilton will join us at 4:30. It's just keep on coming. Paul will be on at 4:30. The Sabres win in Montreal last night and are off to play the Islanders on the road early tomorrow. 1 o'clock?
1:30, I think. Or is it 1? Sorry, I thought I saw 1:30. 1? No, Zach's saying 1. Sorry.
1 o'clock.
My bad. You were right. I apologize.
Okay. That's it. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here on a Friday. Thanks for listening. We'll have Tyler at 4. This is WGR. Welcome back. The Bills confirm having interviewed Phillip Rivers today. Wow, there's a name. Rivers coming out of retirement to play late in the season for Indianapolis. Didn't work out. They missed the playoffs. And perhaps he wants to get into coaching, and the Bills gave him a chance to be heard. Could he really be hired? I don't know. Tyler Dunn coming up at 4. Paul Hamilton also next hour. The Sabres win again. And I want to make sure we are heard acknowledging that in this time when we're hearing about Bills coaching rumors and talking to reporters and other of our regular guests. But like it's a pattern. They get out early and they, sort of they lash back a little bit.
They wobbled a little bit there in that second period, but I thought the third period was tremendous.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even know what the shots were. I don't care. There was not, to me, anything. I was never that nervous. They just seemed in control to me. And a goal couldn't have gone in, and they could have been, forced into overtime or something. But it's, to me, it looks very real to me. There's not a lot that's fluky about it to me, right? The power play won them last Thursday's game against Montreal probably, but it's not like they're just getting fat off of that. Their penalty kill has been excellent, but that's been the case all year long. It's not like it's hot. It's just good. So maybe I think that's pretty sticky. And I think Luukkonen has clearly started to show himself as their best guy. And again, that doesn't mean there won't be bumps, but man, I just thought last night he was just excellent. Just really in control. And Montreal that's a hard team to, I think Lindy even, or somebody in the locker room said something about it after. How Carolina is just throwing pucks from everywhere. They're just going to get the puck at the net, on the net. And Montreal there's a lot more speed, a lot more across the ice, and he was just excellent. I thought the whole game overall was one of the fastest games I'd watched all year. Those two teams together right now, if that can hold up and we get a playoff series, man, I'm telling you, that is going to be, because everybody on the ice, not everybody, there's the average skaters on both teams, but there's a lot of high-end speed, just speed alone, which isn't everything, but man, I thought that was a really fast game. And that made it really fun to watch.
Absolutely. Next up, the Islanders tomorrow afternoon, and then Toronto on, that's Tuesday in Toronto.
Yep.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here with Tyler Dunn next. This is WGR.
More names and interviews for the Bills' vacant head coaching position. Today, they expected to have 2 interviews. Officially, they've already had 1. That is with former quarterback Phillip Rivers. And they're also expected to interview former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. Over the next few days, we've also got a few more on the docket. Over the weekend, on Saturday, Commanders run game coordinator Anthony Lynn and former Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. And then on Sunday, they are expected to speak with Jags offensive coordinator Grant Yudinsky. And for an updated look on all of the candidates, we do have a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. We've also got some Bills player news as the team just announced that Dalton Kincaid has been named to the Pro Bowl squad as he replaces Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. And then also over this weekend, we do have 2 games. It is Championship Sunday. AFC Championship at 3, New England at Denver. Then at 6:30, the NFC Championship, Seahawks host the Rams again. Both these games are on Sunday. And Westwood One's coverage can be heard right here on WGR. To the Sabres, they get another win yesterday. Today, just practice. No Rasmus Dahlin on the ice, but head coach Lindy Ruff says he is confident Dahlin will play tomorrow, as it appears it's just a maintenance day. Sabres are at the Islanders. Alex Lyon is expected to get the start tomorrow afternoon with game time at 1 and pregame at noon. We'll get more on the Sabres. Stay tuned. Coming up just about a half hour, 4:30. Paul Hamilton will join the show. And then in college hoops, UB men, they host UMass tonight at 7 over on the Bet 1520. The Bulls trying to end a 4-game skid in conference. And then before that at 5:30, the Bonnies host number 24 ranked St. Louis. And for TV purposes, that game is over on ESPN2. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp.
Name any word in less than a second. I will tell you how many letters are in it. But I cannot do anything mechanically. I don't even know how to put a game together for 3-year-olds.
And the Bulldog.
Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. Oh, who's winning today? Me. Credentialed for the Scotties. What a moment. The email came in just over an hour ago. Apparently they sent one 3 days ago that I missed. I kept going back. Am I okay? Can I come, please? And I have a credential for the Scotties. Mississauga. See you there.
Chances Tyler Dunn knows what the Scotties are.
You know, I think he probably doesn't unless he's heard me.
Right, talking
but
about
that's,
it. Yeah.
Maybe that's a little ego talking. Tyler, let's find out. Tyler Dunn, does he know what the Scotties are as a sporting event?
I've got no freaking clue. Nothing for you.
It is women's.
Sorry.
It is women's curling, the national championships in Canada.
All right. Okay. Underrated. I'm kind of pumped for the Olympics. You know, with some kids, introduce some new sports, and we'll probably learn some new sports watching the Olympics too.
The oldest American athlete at the Winter Games is a curler, 54, same age as me. And the rest of the team is really young. The men's team is really young. There's a women's team also in the field from the States. But Casper, you know, just remember the name. They might be a little bit live. The Americans have won gold before with Schuster. What was that, 06 Bulldog?
Of course.
Maybe more recent than that?
Tyler, I have no idea what he's talking about either.
I think it's more recent than
I
that.
knew it was curling, but I'm in the room with the guy 20 hours a week. I can't avoid it.
I know. I watch games during our breaks. Okay, Tyler. Wow. The Bill season ends so different, but so familiar. Denver and turnovers this time, but another high-scoring loss. And this time, of course, Sean McDermott pays the price. This is what we ask everybody since it happened on Monday. Were you shocked that McDermott was out?
I was not shocked at all. I think that anything short of a trip to the Super Bowl, I think he would have been out, frankly.
Okay. So, I mean, you sensed it. Leading up to, was it the having to settle for a wild card? Was it something more internal? Bulldog was sensing him making little comments about the roster and different things that might have been a bad sign about how he felt.
You know what? I thought it was interesting at the presser, Tyler. You were there, right?
Yes, it was.
When somebody asked Bean, I think, about a power play or something, and Pegula interjected, like, I'm not a power play. I'm not a fan of the power play, which is, I'm waiting for it to turn into a hockey thing, but the Sabres are good now, so maybe it won't. But, like, if I'd sensed that, you'd be out. Like, I don't play that way, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the spirit of the comment Pegula made. I wondered whether he sensed McDermott making a power play with the comments about Darius Slay and Jamarcus Ingram and Jacoby Myers and, like, whatever. There was stuff through the season that I thought was the first public evidence of those two guys, McDermott and Bean, sort of having been at a fork in the road, and I don't know how far that fork would have gone back, but I felt like they were diverging from one another all season.
So, absolutely. I think there is something to that relationship. We'll get to it. It's a combination of a few different things. So, obviously, Terry Pegula referenced the scene inside that locker room, the tears, the dejection. I think he really just wanted to help people kind of see what he saw. And then he did get around to mentioning 13 seconds by name and missed field goals and all of these repeated playoff failures, defensive failures, 33.2 points per game the last 6 of 8 playoff losses, right? That's really considering when they've been a playoff contender. I mean, go right down the stats. I mean, I'm sure you have, but you're talking about 52 non-kneel-down drives. They've allowed 25 touchdowns, 13 field goals, forced only 12 punts, 1 missed field goal in there. They've created 3 turnovers, and they've allowed 199 points. That's good for 3.83 per drive, which, by the way, is more than the 2007 Patriots, Brady, Moss, Welker, all those guys, scored per drive. He's a defensive-minded head coach. That is supposed to be his expertise. So that's why you start with that game. 3rd and 11. He's sending the dogs, guys. 3rd and 11. 7 at the line of scrimmage. 3 back off. Bo Nix has time. I think that play stood out. What happened 4 snaps later? Tre'Davious White goes down, and Dane Jackson comes in, ice cold off the sideline, and Sean McDermott did not learn his lesson from earlier in the game when Cam Lewis went down, and Darnell Savage comes in, and Sean Payton targets that replacement player. In that case, give Dane Jackson a little bit of help. Throw him a bone. Don't leave him one-on-one out there.
Instead he blitzed
we
there.
can parse through specific plays. We absolutely can look at the offense, all of that. But when you lump this Denver game, Bo Nix, 29th in passer rating during the regular season, mind you. He's down 2 receivers. He doesn't have a running game. This isn't Joe Montana. You put that with all of the other ones, the on-field product is enough. And then you consider the dejection, the emotion, the fact that this is the proverbial playoff wall. And I'll tell you what, fellas, I talked to some people in that building, and this really stung me. I wasn't bringing it up myself. What came up time and time again? 13 seconds. I mean, that really is the game, the moment when we look back at the McDermott era that broke this team. It has. I mean, it's hovered over the franchise like a dark cloud, from overruling the special teams coordinator who wanted the squib. They go touchback, Kodak moments before each play, cornerbacks lined up in another zip code. Overtime, they get ran over. There's zero accountability the next day behind the scenes, telling the assistant coaches, you guys have to get out of here. You guys have to figure out what went wrong. By the way, at the podium, he did use the word execution, which is usually code for the players screwed up. When it's safe to say the head coach screwed up in this situation.
That's true.
It was Legion of Boom losing to the Patriots at the 1-yard line. Right? There are games that stick with teams, and they never get past. They never got past that one. It's if anything, if there is criticism to be levied, I think that it took too long.
Well, it's interesting to hear people inside the building reference that, because I thought that was just our lives out here. That like 13 seconds comes up almost every show. It seems like in our lives here, but I wouldn't have guessed that it would be something that would come up like that prominently from people inside the building. So the way forward here is what? Like I know, I read your piece, and we're here reacting in real time to the news conference. and it had its its rough moments. The whole firing process, Tyler. I think the Bills brought a lot of negative heat on themselves for the way the whole thing went down. However much animosity there may have been about everything you just said over the years, I think the Bills vastly underestimated how emotional the fan base would be about McDermott. I think they might have thought a lot of people, more people than in reality, are walking around ready to just fire at will on him because of that. And I think they botched some stuff along the way, and the news conference was hardly smooth as well. So, we get through that, though, and now it's on to, find a coach. But it's been a rough week for them.
I'm not going to disagree with you, Bulldog. You would think maybe that video is ready to roll out a little sooner, thanking Sean McDermott, but maybe it did kind of happen fast. Maybe you cut him a little slack there, but there's a way to do a statement. There's a way to do a tribute. Absolutely, there are ways to do something like this. What I'll say, though, Sean McDermott, I think I'm thinking about this because you're right. It's wild. It's gotten to the point where the blowback has gotten extreme, right? To put it mildly, I think we feel it. When petitions are circulating and local news stations are bringing on sports psychologists to discuss how players will cope with the grief of losing Sean McDermott. I mean, he didn't die, right? Nor is he a combination of Vince Lombardi and Mother Teresa. He was a very good coach who ended the drought and made the playoffs a bunch of years and won a hell of a lot of games. And this is what you see. There's only been a few coaches in NFL history that won their first Super Bowl with a team in year 9 or beyond. Bill Cowher, Tom Landry, and Hank Stram. And Hank Stram won an AFL title in there. So this isn't uncommon. This happens. But to your point, I think locals have been hearing Sean McDermott in their ears for a decade, right? On your show, at press conferences, he's been a part of lives in the car, at home. You hear Sean McDermott's voice so much, you kind of get used to it. You don't hear Terry Pagula's voice, you don't hear Brandon Beane's voice as much, but we heard it on WGR offseason. That plays into this as well, with kind of where the goodwill is swaying back and forth. But I think that you hear it, and he was not so subtle with dropping, some drive-by shots at the GM along the way. And I think that people remembered that. I got to look it up. I talked to somebody in the building, or I should say, somebody that kind of is familiar with the relationship, and they kind of likened it between McDermott and Beam, kind of likened it almost to a marriage headed toward divorce. We're short of a championship. It's just not going to work out. And quote, whether it be the husband or the wife, they start going on a campaign. They start going around friends. Oh, my husband, he did this wrong, that wrong. It's like they're campaigning.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like McDermott was doing that, and it was subtle. It wasn't like he was hitting people over the head with it. So that kind of, I think that settled into the consciousness of people, subconscious. We remembered Brandon Beane going off on with Jeremy and Joe in the morning about the receivers, and then you saw what happened at the receiver position through the year. So that's in the back of minds. And then the climax of it all is the press conference after the Denver game. Everybody here in Western New York is pissed. Everybody feels like the Bills got screwed again, and I mean they did. I think objectively, most people would say that was a catch. And he mirrored the emotion of everybody. I'm standing up for Buffalo, damn it. I think people could relate to that. They could feel it, and they attach themselves to that energy. So then at that point, that's who a lot of people want around, and kind of like the logic of it all gets thrown to the wayside. So I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like that's the case, but you guys would have a better sense talking to people every day on the show.
Well, I just know that I and by the way, I guess I'm in what you would consider to be the minority because I think it was an interception. I think if that ball shakes free at the same time and the Denver player doesn't come out with it, it's an incompletion. So by that logic, I think it's a pick. But anyway, when I first I was not thinking really all year, Tyler, as I noted all these examples of McDermott, mentioning things about the roster and his dissatisfaction subtly with certain things. I always assumed wrongly, quite apparently now, that Pagula would side with the coach, not Beane, right? So the game ends, McDermott we carry live. Mike and I are hosting post game, and he's fired up about that play. And I didn't know until I got up the next morning that he had called Jay Skursky in the press box and then went longer and harder about the whole thing. And that's the first moment when I thought, maybe he knows he's in trouble here. So, just to lay it out like what I was thinking, like that, I never thought he was in trouble this year. I thought he did a great job this year with the roster.
You know what I think is important to remember too is the bigger picture, not losing the plot. Let's start at the start. 2017. Hell, this is back when my pod co-host Jim Monis is on staff, and that go to 2016. October of 2016 is really when Terry Pegula fell in love with Patrick Mahomes. Nobody really considered this guy a first-round prospect then. He had a feeling that this dude is going to be a stud. He saw Brett Favre. He saw his franchise quarterback. And so you get through the season. Everybody close to me showing, hey, look at this Mahomes clip, look at that clip. And I think Doug Whaley and Jim Monis, they liked him, they didn't love him. They saw the same thing everybody else did, some recklessness. And then Sean McDermott is hired. They're going through the process. And to McDermott's credit, I don't blame him. You don't want to rush into a quarterback yet. He wanted to win with Tyrod year one. Terry Pegula doesn't want to step on his toes and go full Jerry Jones. So they trade down. Whaley Monis get fired. Brandon Beane comes in 10 days later. And this is the important point, and Terry brought it up at the press conference. Brandon Beane was the one who worked up that draft board, had the conviction on Josh Allen. He's never going to forget that. He saw it. Think about what's going through Terry's mind if they land Josh Rosen or anybody else after he missed on Mahomes. I mean, this is the best possible consolation prize.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of been on his mind throughout. He's talking to Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane year to year. He probably has a good sense for who likes which players and their football knowledge. That's the big question, right? Like, who's behind each draft pick. But I think that over time, Terry came to realize the organization should run through Josh Allen, the quarterback. And 2020, 2021, 2022, he's a superstar, and it's clear he's this unicorn, and you've got to kind of build through him. He realized it. Brandon Beane realized it. I've been told by many people that Sean McDermott never really realized it until it was too late, until 2024, when you really started seeing positive comments from the coach on the quarterback at every turn and several feature stories, one-on-ones.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at the sit-down we did in his office. And it was great. I mean, it's incredible he even let me in there after what we wrote, obviously. And he was so open and honest and talked for an hour. But he made a point to bring up ending the drought 4 different times, like noting what he inherited. It's all true. But, I mean, here we are in 2024, 2025 talking about it. And at one point he said, look, it's more than just Josh. It's bigger than just Josh. And he kind of clarified himself later. He caught himself. But it was a little slip-up that kind of mirrors what I've been hearing from people in the building that, look, McDermott and Allen, they were never truly aligned. They're very different personalities. He was way closer to Brian Dable, and then Dable left. And I just think that it wasn't toxic, right? It wasn't going to blow up or anything, but it wasn't that great, right? It wasn't what it should be. And it's a good thing they moved on while there's still time to take advantage of Josh Allen.
Well, you mentioned it quite a few moments ago now, but I just want to say I finally found something that I have in common with Terry Pegula, because I also wanted the Bills to draft Patrick Mahomes in 2017 at 10. I fell in love with him as that draft process went on. So at least I have that.
I'm glad to hear you say what you did about sort of the timeline of their relationship, because as recently as 2024, I thought it was icy. It sounded like to me that it was icy, but then, and there was a moment in the middle of the season when I specified that, and of course I just, what do I know, right? I'm just looking to start a fight or something, and then they're doing Snow Angels together a month later or something. I kind of think too that it maybe improved last year. Hank Stram, Tom Landry, and who?
Bill Cowher, year 14.
Cowher. 9+ years in a job before winning one. And then they did.
Their first one, yep.
Well,
you're too young to have met Stram, right?
I am a little too young, but there is the bucket of coaches who didn't get it done. You got Wayne Fonts over there and Marty Schottenheimer, Marvin Lewis, Bart Starr, Don Coryell. That's and before I forget though too, Mike, the Josh Allen Sean McDermott relationship. To their credit, right? And Dan Pompei had the excellent story in The Athletic. Josh going over to his house for dinner, and we see the Snow Angels on live TV. I think he kind of worked at it. It was just a little too late. But if I go back to it was a staff meeting, and a source for my series back in December 2023 pointed this out. That it just blew my mind that Sean looked to him and said, "Tell Josh to stop worrying about that effing house. We've got a season coming up. When the season starts, that needs to be Brittany's issue." That's obviously his former girlfriend, and not effing his. And coaches just looked at each other like stunned, like what the? So there's some smoke there, and I just think that Terry Pagula, Brandon Beane, they got Josh Allen in those meetings for a reason. People are stunned, like, well, how can you let a player sit in there? Well, that relationship matters, and it took until year 8 of 9 for Sean and Josh to kind of get to a really good place. And Josh is the ultimate employee of the month company man, right? Son of a farmer, no stars. You don't hear a bad word about him. He's never going to speak out on any of this stuff. But it matters. You got to have that lined up, and I think that's why he's sitting there. He shouldn't have the say, but he should have a say.
Right. I want to tee you up before we wrap up here to talk about the quality of the job opening, because I loved the little nugget that I saw in your piece about being at the presser on Wednesday and knowing what the reaction was, and your phone blowing up from people just slamming the Bills for how badly that went, and then the phone call you got right after that as you were driving home.
Yeah, exactly. I think all our phones were blowing up like, what in the hell is going on in Buffalo? This is a disaster. So I'm dead serious. I get in my truck, go back, drive home, and I get a call. I'm not going to say who it's from to protect him, but it's somebody that's looking to become a head coach. I hadn't talked to him in ages. I was shocked to see this name on my phone. So I answer it, assuming this person wants to talk about what the entire world is talking about, and he had no clue there was a press conference at all. I think he was just excited about this Buffalo Bills job opening up and was just looking for a 716 in his phone to just talk about the Bills. And he went on and on and on for an hour about how he would love to deliver a Super Bowl to this city with this quarterback. And at one point, I'm like, did you catch the press conference? And when I explained what happened, he just kind of shrugged. He didn't really care. I don't think anybody in the NFL really is going to care. It's the Keon Coleman thing, it made headlines. Ideally, your owner is interrupting the GM and creating this huge PR nightmare. That's not ideal, but I don't know, guys. Keon Coleman isn't going to catch strays if he's catching the ball on the field and setting his alarm and getting to meetings. It's like the framework of this all is his own doing. And I think it's a big boy league. You know what? It's not ideal, and they have to mend the relationship. But this should be like the wake-up call of a lifetime for him. I mean, words shouldn't offend him. He already knew his career was on the line in year 3. So here it is, right? Let's see what you got, Keon Coleman.
If I take one guess, and I'm right, will you tell me? Doug Worthington. Doug Worthington. Is that it? No? Okay. Could have been. Local ties. Thank you, Tyler. Really good insight today. I mean, you're always great for us, but especially interesting, I would say, this time. And look forward to the next one.
Hey, always love talking, fellas. Thanks for having me. And we've got stories on this all at golongtd.com.
Yes.
People want to subscribe and check it out.
golongtd.com. Thanks again. Tyler Dunn with us on the West Shore Hotline. Paul Hamilton next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
More names and interviews for the Bills' vacant head coaching position. Today, they are projected to have 2 interviews, one of which is already official, that being with former quarterback Phillip Rivers. They are also, though, expected to interview former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. And then over the weekend, it's a busy docket for the Bills brass. On Saturday, Commanders run game coordinator Anthony Lynn and former Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. And then on Sunday, Jags offensive coordinator Grant Yadinsky. For an updated look at all of the candidates, we do a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. And then some other Bills news. Dalton Kincaid has been named to the Pro Bowl squad. He replaces Travis Kelce, and with that, it is Kincaid's first Pro Bowl honor. To the Sabres, they are off today, just practice, although for practice today, no Dahlin on the ice. However, head coach Lindy Ruff did say he's confident Dahlin will play tomorrow when they take on the Islanders. It today appeared to be a maintenance day. We'll get more, though, on the Sabres is coming up next. Paul Hamilton will join the show, so do stay tuned for that. And then in college hoops, UB men, they host UMass. Tip-offs at 7. That game will be over on the Bet 1520. And then before that, at 5:30, the Bonnies, they are hosting number 24 ranked St. Louis. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Kincaid to the Pro Bowl. Of course this is how it would happen. The Bills have never had a tight end in the Pro Bowl. And is this a tight end in the Pro Bowl?
I think it gets recorded as such.
Oh, stupid Pro Bowl. No offense to Kincaid, but you should have to get named to the Pro Bowl. Maybe actually
he has been named.
Maybe actually there has been a player who filled in. Like Stu Barber maybe went to whatever they had before the Pro Bowl. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Paul would know. I bet.
Paul knows all about Stu Barber.
Just don't ask him who's going to win. Paul, it's super easy now. Just say yes. If anybody asks you if the Sabres are going to win, just say yes.
I was going to say maybe Ernie Warlick. Maybe. And I'm just kind of spitballing there.
AFL. Yeah, maybe. But
AFL All-Star game, but that wouldn't be a Pro Bowl.
Something.
Well, they used to play the college All-Stars. When the Bills won in '64, they played the college All-Stars.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that game back. It's been a while since I've seen it. Paul, these Sabres are hot. I'm guessing you were impressed last night. I hope so.
Yeah. You know what's kind of neat for them is the fact that, they play a bad second period. They've done it 2 games in a row now. Really bad.
Yeah.
But they haven't completely lost their lead. And by the time the second period is over, in both occasions, they're still ahead, which is important. So, all right, you kind of really blew it in the second period. You weren't playing your game at all. You let the other team get back into the game, but you didn't let the other team tie you or get ahead of you. And then they come out in the third period, and they calm down and figure it out, play much better, and win the hockey game. And they've done that two games in a row now. I don't think they can make a living on that. I mean, if they keep doing that, I think it'll eventually go south on them. But I just think it's such a different team. There's no question in my mind they would have lost both those games last year or the year before that.
Right.
I mean, they would have panicked, and it would have been over. But now, you talk about being hot. They're 17-3-1 in their last 21 games. And they find ways to win when maybe the A game isn't there for the whole 60 minutes. And they certainly wasn't in the last 2. But that they found a way to get 2 points in both of them.
I want to say, if this season continues to trend up, one thing about it that I will long remember is around the time of the general manager change, we would talk to you and you said, they need 10 straight wins. You want to have a conversation? They need 10 straight wins. And they literally did win 10 straight games.
Exactly 10 in a row, right?
Not 11.
They did.
Right.
They did. And I'm like, well, it's still pretty close. Maybe they don't have to win 10 straight games to make it close. But then they did, and they still were sort of right in the middle
right
after that. And I just will always remember that if this season continues well, that was the number. Because who would have thought they could have done that?
Right. And the people that want to, whoa, you said they couldn't. Yeah, you're right, I did. And I stand behind it. I did say they would have to win 10, double-digit 10-game winning streak to get back into this thing.
Yeah.
And I also said I don't believe they have it in them.
Right.
I don't think they can do it, and I stand behind that. I mean, it's at the time I said it would have been early December. They hadn't won 3 in a row yet.
Right.
All year. So what would have indicated to me that they were going to go on a 10-game bender? I mean, I said that. Yeah, I was wrong.
7 on the road. 7 of the 10 on the road. Western Canada, St. Louis, Dallas.
And maybe
they hadn't won on the road yet.
Right.
So I'm going to sit there and think they're going to win 7
They
on
hadn't
10
won
on the
a
road?
single road game yet.
Yeah. Nothing's bigger than the 10 games in a row, Paul. But what I think is also really key here is that they haven't lost 3 in a row or 4 out of 5 since they won 10 in a row. Right? I mean, the winning streak ended, and they won right away next time out. And, there hasn't been a long streak of wins in a row, but there has not been a few in a row that have gone the wrong way either, which is helping them because this isn't going to hold, and I don't think they may not even be holding now. But I know before last night's game, watching Toronto and Detroit on Wednesday night, Paul, TNT had this stat. The 5 teams with the best record in the NHL since December 23rd were the top 5 teams in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I retweeted that.
Holy cow. I mean, that's just everybody just got hot all at once there. And, so good thing you won the 10 in a row and that you haven't lost 3 or 4 in a row since because you might not be in a playoff spot if you had.
Yeah, one of the things that really sticks out to me that we have talked about, but I like to keep bringing it up because when the streak got broken in Columbus, and they did not play well at all in Columbus. They deserved to lose. It was a horrible game. And in the locker room, talking to 3 different players, all 3 of them, it's like, all right, yeah, we knew we weren't going to win 82 in a row. No team's going to do that. So we had a bad. We're going to figure out why. But the big thing isn't that you lost the game today. The big thing is what are we going to do about it on Tuesday? Their next game was Tuesday. They said, what are we going to do about it in the next game on Tuesday? And they went on a 3-game winning streak after losing just 1. So now they'd won 13 out of 14 games. And I just remember those players were just defiant. And, all right, yeah, it happened. Let's put it aside. Let's learn from it, and let's figure it out, and let's win the next game. And they basically have done that. Now, they did lose 2 in a row. One was in
overtime.
In overtime, I'm sorry.
Minnesota.
But they still, after those 2, now they've won 2. So that's the thing, you're right, that sticks out to me that, they just don't ruin their 10-game winning streak. They had a big winning streak in these 14 years before, but they ruined it. Because then they went on a huge losing streak afterwards.
The first regulation Sabres road win of the season was in that streak against Vancouver. They'd had a couple of overtime wins, but it wasn't until the streak that they won a game on the road in regulation. That was December 11th. Bulldog made a point about Luukkonen.
Yeah, Paul, do you think he's, going to play 2 out of 3 every 3? I assume guys are going to get healthy and the 3 goalie thing is going to have to end at some point. There's been enough injuries that they've managed to get by. But man, I feel like, and nothing, like every guy's taking turns, but man, I just feel like Luukkonen, if he's not there yet, I feel like he's about to settle in.
Well, another key point of the last 21 games, Lyon has won 8 in a row. And Luukkonen's gone 7-2-1. Not bad. But combine that, you got 15-2-1 between your 2 goalies. I think he's really made some big saves along the way. He seems to have gotten into a groove. Lyon's going to play tomorrow. Lindy didn't say that, but he had his own net. With the 3 goalies, you always know who's going to play the next day, whoever has his own net. So Luukkonen did get 2, and Lyon's going to get 1. We'll see if that holds or if they're going to start alternating again. But you've got 2 hot goaltenders who are both playing very well and making the big saves when they have to. So Luukkonen is more like the Luukkonen we saw a couple of years ago that finished the last 35 games of the season than the Luukkonen we watched last year. So, he's making the big saves, and both Lyon and Luukkonen experienced that second period blah.
Yeah.
And they both stood up and played very, very well. And for their team, and kept them in the game and kept them ahead, so where they could win the game. So, we all know that you got to have goaltending to be able to go on a bender like this at 17-3-1. If you have goalies letting bad goals in, this isn't happening. So, Luukkonen, I think, has finally just decided. Remember, he hadn't won on the road, and I believe it was in New Jersey. And he said afterwards, he goes, if I want to play, he goes, there's no more excuses. I got to show up and play well. And he did play very well in that game. That kind of got him going, that New Jersey game. But it just seemed like he got to a point in the season where enough is enough. I either got to prove it to these guys or go home. Be sent home or be sent to another team or something. And he's kind of been stubborn about it. And ever since then, I think he's played pretty well.
Islanders tomorrow, what kind of a matchup is that?
It was very tight here in Buffalo. If you recall, that was a shootout that the Sabres won against the Islanders. So they'll play it tight with you. They're in third place, but the Sabres have a little better points percentage than the Islanders do. They're coming off a West Coast road trip. A lot of it was West Coast. It was actually a 7-game trip where they went 3-3-1. They lost in Seattle on Wednesday, and we all know sometimes coming home from the West is a problem. So the Sabres are going to hope to make it a problem for them.
Islanders in a playoff spot themselves, third in the Metro. All right.
Well, I mentioned injuries. How close? Because I thought earlier in the week, I saw a mixed message from Lindy about Norris. I thought I saw week to week, but then that he could be back by the end of the week. What is the timeline on, I guess, him specifically and anyone else? I know we found out Bryson's going to miss a little bit of time and that Dahlin is probably okay after blocking that shot late. What's the timeline on Norris as you know it?
There isn't one. It's basically when it starts feeling better. Lindy didn't close the door on him joining in this trip. I can tell you he wasn't there today.
Okay.
And now if you want to say Toronto was part of the trip on Tuesday, you could say, well, the trip's not over.
Yep.
I mean, so they will come home, but they're still got another road game coming, so maybe they'll come home and he'll be ready to practice or whatever. But no, has not been a definitive timeline of where they think he can be back.
Very good. Paul, thanks for fitting us in.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty busy when I'm in Long Island. I have autograph sessions and a lot of things I need to be at. But
you ever go?
There isn't anything to do where you are, is there?
you ever go way out on Long Island, Paul?
No, I haven't. I'm looking across the street, and I can't even pronounce the names of the restaurants over there. So,
Wawa is the name of the restaurant across the street.
It's a gas station.
Wawa. Yeah, but there's food. Sheets-esque. Sheets adjacent. Ever go way out on Long Island? You and I were talking about this earlier.
No, I haven't.
Almost never have. Just feel like it's part of our state.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get out
Howard
there.
Simon, since he's from here, would have invited me to do that, but he hasn't.
Out to the Hamptons.
I had one, 3 lifetimes ago, which for me really means 3 fiancés ago, where I was living in New Haven, and my girl at the time started working in Manhattan and was taking the train, and so she got to know people. And we got invited to something way out on Long Island. It was like a Seinfeld episode where
Swanky.
and I just, was extremely uncomfortable the whole time. It was like, what am I? I'm running a Grandma Lee's bakery in Brantford, Connecticut, and I'm here with these people in this, multi-million-dollar home and the beach and the pool and the whole thing. It was
You weren't in a white button-down shirt and white pants.
It was very, my Mickey Mouse T-shirt with the sleeves cut off didn't go over great, Paul. My beach attire was not up to snuff. Yeah, it's awkward is how I'd put it. But I do have that one experience from way out in the money.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Do you tell your boys about your dating experience, or do you kind of keep that under wraps?
He just did. They work here. One of them works here.
I don't know how much they know. I honestly don't. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't No.
Well, they know you got married during the Stanley Cup Finals. Right?
They do know that. Yeah, they do know that. All right, I want to end this before you ask the wrong questions, Paul. But
I can't believe there wasn't a TV at the altar.
There were TVs at the reception. Believe me, we were plugged in. All right, Paul. Enjoy the names of the restaurants you can't say.
Paul's breaking up.
Paul's appearance on I want to get out of this badly. Paul's appearance here with us is brought to you by Equitable Advisors. Planning for your future is about more than just money. Let Equitable be your guide. And by Raylax Honda. Raylax, we got this.
I've told you about the time a couple of summers ago when I took my son out to a lacrosse tournament on Long Island. I think maybe in Farmingdale.
One of your fantasy buddies brought you bagels.
Theo Greminger brought me bagels, and somebody else at that venue said, "Hey, you know what's right there behind the trees?" And I said, "No." He said, "Bethpage Black."
All right.
So I took a picture of the trees.
Oh, jeez.
But then, like, what these are the trees on the outskirts of the golf course.
You're going to take your phone out.
I was not
to
at
impress
Bethpage
somebody.
Black.
Hey, let me show you. Sitting next to somebody on a plane. Yeah, let me show you. Look at this. You recognize that?
Right. They had a Ryder Cup there.
I don't. What is that? Those behind those trees is where Bethpage Black is.
Yeah. No, I mean, I realized that.
Calling for the stewardess.
Soon.
Can I get some extra gin over here, please?
I didn't need that picture.
Holy cow.
It served no purpose.
No, it's
I wasn't even at the golf course.
Do you still have it in your phone, or did you delete it? Thank you.
No, I don't think I do.
Good. You hang on to everything. I just say it might be, something that you... Well, emails and stuff, I guess. Yeah.
No, I don't think I still have that.
Good.
It doesn't really serve any purpose at all. Vegas losing to Boston last night, first place in the Pacific, 24-25.
Jeez.
24-13-12 is their record. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Phillip Rivers, Mike McDaniel. New names today. 803-0550. We've spent the week talking about this search. Did it have to happen? McDermott being fired, and where do the Bills go from here? We are open through next hour at least. Lines are open for your calls here on WGR.
Folks, are you tired of
Nar, nar, nar. If you missed Bill Fichtner yesterday, check it out on the Odyssey app if it's there.
That happened. Yep.
Actor William Fichtner. I feel like he should be a household name.
I agree.
You know him from so many things. Not only is he, in my, somewhat expert opinion, it's a show I know inside and out. That's a top 10 episode of The West Wing, the one he's in, The Supremes. He's only in one. And he's also in Quiz Show. Might have been his first movie role. We never talk about his career when he calls in. We talk about like the Bills' secondary.
Right, and we also talk about a lot of actors' careers who don't call our show. It seems, but we've never talked about
With
his.
him?
No. I mean, just in general,
Sure.
It comes up on the show, and I feel like we've never really, even though he's been a regular guest on the show.
Occasional.
That's tough. Occasional is
Twice.
much better. Twice is really accurate.
Yeah, he calls in.
Exactly accurate. We've never. Yeah, I feel like I know him. The place I noticed him first was in The Perfect Storm.
Okay. That's not a movie I know very well. But sure. Quiz Show is one of my favorite movies. Got to be like, how long could the list be if it's one of your favorites? 10? I'm saying top 10 episode of West Wing, top 10 movie. It might be.
I think you can't. Yeah, I don't think you can say one of my favorites about more than 10 movies.
Okay, yeah, I'll stand by that then. He has a very small part in it, but he's, a young up-and-comer at the time. 1994, Robert Redford movie.
Yeah.
Quiz Show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
it's so
I know
good.
it. I know it outside of you, how much you love it. I know
I
it.
love it.
I've never seen it.
It's just a job, Dick. It's not sex. Oh, I love that movie. So many great lines. We will take a break and get into the Bills thing again after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
More names and interviews for the Bills' vacant head coaching position. Today, they are projected to have 2 interviews. Officially, they've already had one, is maybe the more interesting one, that being former quarterback Philip Rivers. They are also expected to interview with former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, though we've yet to get an official word on that one. They do also have a busy weekend. On Saturday, Commanders running game coordinator Anthony Lynn and former Dolphins defense coordinator Anthony Weaver. And then on Sunday, Jags offense coordinator Grant Yadinsky. And for an updated look at all of the candidates the Bills are bringing in for reported interviews or official interviews, we do a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. We've also got some Bills roster news as Dalton Kincaid has been named to the Pro Bowl squad. He replaces Travis Kelce, and with that is Kincaid's first Pro Bowl honor. We do have games, though, this weekend. It is Championship Sunday, AFC Championship at 3, New England at Denver. Then at 6:30, NFC Championship, Seahawks host the Rams. Again, both those games are on Sunday, and Westwood One's coverage can be heard right here on WGR. Coming up tomorrow, though, the Sabres are in action. They had off today, just practice. No Dahlin on the ice, but head coach Lindy Ruff did say he's confident Dahlin's going to play tomorrow, as today is more or less a maintenance day. They are at the Islanders tomorrow with game time at 1. Pregame will be at noon, both, of course, right here on WGR. Then in college hoops, UB men, they host UMass tonight at 7 over on the Bet 1520. While before that, coming up in about a half hour at 5:30, the Bonnies, they are hosting number 24 ranked St. Louis. And for television purposes, that game is over on ESPN2. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet, celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp
We were having a very serious conversation about mayonnaise here.
and the Bulldog
And don't even talk to me about weed.
on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. Back to your calls here. I say back to. I'm not sure we've done that yet today. A lot of that this week.
I've been chock full of guests so far.
Bill Fichtner.
All right.
Where's that guy?
Yeah.
He might have had more to say. We sort of had to cut him short yesterday.
Yeah, we did clip him a little. Yeah. He'll be
Sadly.
back. He'll be back.
Let's go. I hope so.
Maybe when they hire a coach, he'll want to, whatever.
Doors open.
Yeah, always.
Come on over.
If you're out there, I mean, I love that he mentioned that he sort of fell into a YouTube rabbit hole, and it was us. Right,
Yeah.
like that happens to me. It's
Curling.
Social distortion videos from 1990 or something. Oh, look at that one. I love that William Fichtner is out there watching clips of our show on YouTube.
It happened. He said it sort of happened to him.
Right? Yeah. He went looking for news and saw and then it just kept. That's how it works.
I don't watch curling like that. You know what it is for me when I do that? It's Chris Elliott on Letterman.
Right.
I'll just sort of, because I've watched it, different bits and skits enough times where that'll be right up there when I open YouTube. And so are other things, but they're more long form. So I'll just end up watching him, drink vegetable oil.
Yeah, mine's mostly music videos and how
For
to
example.
replace taillight bulbs on a 2018 Subaru Forester.
Yes.
I got a lot of that.
That's good. That's healthy.
It's one of my son's cars.
Pat is with us. Hello, Pat.
Hey, gentlemen, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I heard you guys talking about Long Island, so I'm like, I got to call in.
All right.
Down
Glad
here
you
on
did.
Long Island, lifelong Bills fan. Just figured I'd chime in on the coaching carousel that we're in the midst of now.
Yeah. Where you at?
I mean, listen, I was never the biggest McDermott guy. If we would have done this last year, I probably would have been comfortable with it. I just feel like this year, and maybe on my end, it's because Bean stayed. Maybe I feel uncomfortable with that. I don't know. I just felt uncomfortable with the way they let him go, and they let him go. But now we're there. He's gone. He's not coming back, despite the online petition, right?
I think yes. Despite that, yes.
I like what they're doing. I like that it's an open door. They're bringing all aspects and anybody you can think of. Philip Rivers, that kind of blew me out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily want to see Philip Rivers as the head coach. I don't know if that's an upgrade over McDermott.
It's hard to know.
Interest me.
It's hard to know.
He's
Never done it at all, right?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily know that Dable is an upgrade over McDermott. Dable, Brady, McDaniels. I don't know. I hope we're holding out for the end of it when these other teams are done with their playoff run, so we can take a look at Kubiak and whoever else may be there. That's all.
All right. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat. Checking in from Long Island. I also I think there comes a point in time where hand wringing, nothing I said this week about being shook by how everything had been handled. I don't take any of it back, but I never thought it has to hold them back from getting this right. I mean, they did get enough right here the last time they went through this to land on McDermott, and it transformed the franchise. So I hope they land on the right guy. We're not going to know for a long time. But I don't mind them talking to Phillip Rivers. I get why it's funny, especially because of how the week went and what the news conference looked like, sounded like, felt like. But I have no problem with them talking. If they had fired McDermott and had a more respectable press release about it at the outset and immediately posted a video of how much they loved him and appreciated his work, and the news conference sounded more complimentary of the job that he'd done, and so there wasn't all this animosity within, for me anyway, and within the fan base about how it was sloppily handled. They talked to Phillip Rivers today. I'm like, fine. I don't know. It's nothing that it's outside the box, but I don't mind that. So I don't know. I'm not the least bit put out that they wanted to talk to Phillip Rivers.
No,
myself.
Really, why would you need to be? Who knows? I'd never heard his name once as a NFL coaching candidate. Maybe had he been one in recent years at all? He wasn't active, so I wonder if maybe there was a moment when there was speculation about him. But if so, I forgot it. I mean, I don't think there's anything bad about it. Like I said earlier, who's to say he isn't about as qualified as these coordinators? I mean, he's not been a coordinator or an NFL coach, but he's been an NFL quarterback for many years, and I think that's pretty adjacent to that. And I'd respect what he knows about offense and playing the position. And if the number one, I'm not saying it is necessarily, but it might be, the number one goal in this hire is to support Allen in a way, not just emotionally, but physically, have it be somebody that can help him get better. Mm-hmm. And maybe Phillip Rivers is interesting in that way. I mean, he could be. He's going to the Hall of Fame probably as a quarterback. So there's that experience.
Not for another 5 years, though, now.
No, that's right. Push that back 5 years.
He came back and played. Yeah,
I'm just not taking it, so casually is all.
Yeah, I heard a guy that calls us pretty frequently and that's called me going way back many years on my way in today call One Bills Live to make the point, and it's not a direct correlation, but pointed out how John Lynch got the job as the 49ers general manager. And I remember being like, what? Does he have any experience at all with any of it? And they just decided he was going to be our GM. And that's gone well enough. Those are different jobs, being the head coach and a GM. But I don't know. Did people laugh at I think some people probably laughed at the 49ers. I may have even what are you doing? I don't know. They've been to Super Bowls.
It tells you, I think, how little expertise maybe you really need. He's been around. He's somebody who was around the game,
right?
Played the game, but I don't know. To me, look at drafting and that. I don't want to go too much further. I've said it before over the years. I just don't think you have people attach so much importance to experience and the way people talk about drafts, good and bad over the years. It's just so black and white, and it's just never that. And I think somebody could be very well qualified and have great instincts and understand value and look like they have a bad draft record, and vice versa. I think somebody could luck into good picks. Really, you need a long time to be able to set that apart. Brandon Beane is at a point where he needs a couple hits, though. Like after the last few years, this will be a year where he'll be heavily scrutinized, and he always is. But the way the last couple of years have gone, for the most part, I think fans are going to need some success stories from this draft, especially up top.
The case against him was mounting really from last year into this year. I feel like it started to turn more toward him. And again, like McDermott being the way he was about it during this season, I think nudged it that way too. But yeah, for sure. I mean, last year's draft, it's, Harrison got hurt, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
But it's like Deion Walker, and that's it.
Did have a pick in the AFC divisional round, Walker, right?
Yes, he did.
He's got that.
And Cole Bishop, second round year before, is looking like that looks like a pretty, at least a solid pick at this point, if not better.
I agree. Here's Maureen next. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Sure thing.
I'm thrilled you guys had Dunn on this afternoon because Buffalo needed to hear all these points. People are being delusional about how this works in the NFL and how long McDermott has had, and the track record that we can put up against his decisions is so obvious to me. It was so great to hear him, and I hope you have him on more often.
Oh, he's been a regular. He's like 4 or 5 times a year, Tyler. So
at least,
yeah.
He's got to be getting sick of it.
Always answers the call, unless if he's traveling, he'll put you off. But because he does travel quite a lot.
Here's Zach next. Hi, Zach.
Hey guys, it's crazy how different a week makes. I called in a week ago and said something random would turn this game, and of course that's what happened. When the week hit, when Monday hit with McDermott getting fired, I, like a lot of people, was pretty hurt. I promise you, I had met him in Crossing, and I really felt like there's nobody in Buffalo that wanted to deliver a championship more than him. And I think he was kind of pulling at my heartstrings, but it was a couple days to digest. And then hearing guys like Sale and some other people in the locker room describe that feeling, I got myself to, like, what would year 8 of turning this around sound like to these players? Like, what is McDermott gonna come up with for the 8th time that he hasn't said already going into an offseason of why they came up short? And from that standpoint, optics be damned. I felt like that's probably why Terry did it. Ultimately, was like, and then on top of the quarterback turning 30 years old, there's a lot of guys that have quarterbacks that have had a coach change. At this point of their career. As far as the GM goes, I was on Team McDermott, keep him. Maybe he could do a little bit more of the of running the team. But I think Bean catches a lot of heat, and for a guy who's got a lot of time on task, he's going to have a lot of misses. I mean, one of the things he does do well is he re-signs a lot of his own players. We can argue if they're C+ or B- players like a Rousseau or whatever, but he never loses somebody of great deal to free agency. I mean, Tremaine Edmonds might be the only guy, and nobody cares. I think he does a good job of providing solutions even when he comes up short. Getting Brandon Cooks late in the year, even though he drops that pass, like that was a guy in the building. I think he's Bulldog. You said earlier in the week. I think Brandon Beane's certainly qualified for the job. I don't really care as much about the GM because like some of these guys could just make picks out of a magazine that comes out in the April. You know what I mean? Like people make a bigger deal of it, but I am interested to see can they get a quarterback that finishes the job, or I'm sorry, coach that finishes the job.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there is also, Bean should have been, I assume, drafting players to. This is where the collaborative effort sort of comes together. Not that McDermott would necessarily be like overruling picks, but you're trying to find guys who fit what the coach wants to do, right? What style is he playing? This is more specific to defense because McDermott's not really an offensive coach, so I don't know how. Maybe he had his fingers in that too, but I would expect that you're choosing guys who fit the profile, right? Oh, he likes Daquan Jones. Let me find another guy like Daquan Jones, just for one example. I don't know how far that goes, but a different coach with a different style, a different philosophy, maybe you draft different guys. You know, the culture piece, the Bills' DNA, didn't hear that at all on Wednesday. Now, we're not talking about the draft yet, but there was a lot of that kind of talk from both Bean and McDermott through the years when talking about the college prospects. And a lot of that is character-based. And maybe that was too hard of a lean. And maybe you need to, drift a little bit towards, maybe guys that don't check as many of your boxes, but maybe they're more talented. Maybe you can benefit from having, if you've got enough of the character guys on your team, hopefully you can hope anyway that they can police the rest of it if you got some guys that are maybe not as highly graded in that area. And maybe this change will allow them to do that. I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating here. But I know circumstantially, you know how big McDermott, everyone out there listening that follows the Bills, know how big he was on culture and character. And again, I wonder if that will change in any way. Not that it has to, but you're looking for you're trying to thread a certain kind of needle if you're sort of eliminating certain prospects because they don't check that box.
I know I don't need to hear it as a big talking point. I think, as I've said for a long time, it sort of, for me, usually works the other way around. Ben Johnson, if you can teach, you have good ideas and you can teach it, I think you have your culture. And he gets pretty fired up. I think McDermott had that as well as defensive coach and provided a sense of calmness, I think, maybe, to an organization that had been in really turbulent places. I think if that counts, so be it. I would never, mark him down for, quote, culture, but I think usually it's what comes when, you get the X's and O's right. And that's what I think I'd rather listen to more of with this hire than the other thing. Bill is next. Hi, Bill. Bill?
Good afternoon, Mike. Yeah, Mike. Hello, Bulldog. How are you?
Great, Bill. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm just confused a little bit. We talk so much about the new hiring of a head coach, but you guys never mention about what's Sean McDermott's future look like. Is he waiting till the playoffs are done and then maybe they'll look into him, or?
We don't know. We don't know. It's come up a couple of times. You're not entirely correct, because when we have talked about it, I've said I think there are some obvious places that could use what McDermott offers. Cleveland comes right to mind. Vegas would be another, but I just don't know about with Brady and the ownership whether that makes sense. But any team that needs what he did for the Bills, to me, should be calling him. We just haven't seen his name attached to anything. So I don't know even that he is eager to get right back in it right now or what. The reason you haven't heard it is because we just haven't had any reporting at all attaching him to about to get interviewed by Team X. There's just been very little of that. I thought I saw something about Cleveland yesterday, but it might have just been one of those ghost, accounts that just, throw stuff at the wall, because it never has gotten any traction. I went looking again for it yesterday and couldn't even find it. So I don't know what he's up to.
My wife's a big Cleveland Browns.
Bill, sorry, your cell started cracking up and we couldn't hear you.
On the Bet Online coaching odds email, second choice in Arizona, fourth in Cleveland, fourth in Vegas, fourth in Pittsburgh. But that's not necessarily from substance. It's just sort of like he's a name on the market now.
Right.
And that's, I think, what leads into those odds. Charles is next. Hi, Charles.
Chauffeur and the Bulldog.
Charles.
How you guys doing, man? Listen, before I get to my point, I've been listening to this station for about 40 years now, like on a daily basis.
All right.
And I've been listening to you guys since you guys started. I must say, You guys are as funny as ever these days. Like, you guys crack me up, man.
Thank you.
That's about the best
Anyway.
compliment I feel like I can get. So thank you.
No, man.
No, I really mean it. I'm not being jerky. I really appreciate that.
No, it's definitely a compliment. No, this is a serious time right now, but I'm talking about when you guys are.
No, I know. I think I'm taking it in the spirit intended. I appreciate the compliment a lot, really.
No, but listen, man. Out of all the guys they've interviewed and are about to interview, I would almost take Phillip Rivers, other than maybe this Davis Weber, the offensive coordinator from Seattle. Like, I could see Phillip Rivers, like, Bean is on his last leg too. If he pulls a dud out of this coaching hire and next year's a dud, I don't think he's going to last either. So he's got to be at his very best right now. He don't have like 2 and 3 years. He's got to get it done himself. I feel like he's going to do this year what he should have done the last few years and get some players in here. And I feel like, if you could get Phillip Rivers in here with a great offensive coordinator and a great defensive coordinator, that could be something huge.
All right. I do think it will be interesting to talk about Bean now that he and the new coach are sort of on different timelines. And part of maybe the complexion of the job for a coach would be the future of the GM, because you don't want to be in a cycle where, like, if the GM is next to go and then does somebody else come in and replace you? Like, it's better when it's lined up, and the Bills had that for a long time. And for all the different things that have been said about their job performances respectively, at least you had that kind of consistency and uniformity with McDermott and Bean. Now you don't. And so there'll be a new coach, and we'll see what happens in 2026. Maybe Bean is sort of next for this. I don't know. It's not perfect for a new coach to have that be the case, to go into a setting where maybe the Wolves will be out for the GM, and then if he's removed, where does that leave you? Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550. Back to your calls after sports. This is WGR.
More names and interviews for the Bills' vacant head coaching position, and today they are expected to have 2 interviews. One officially has already happened, and it may be the more interesting one, that being former quarterback Phillip Rivers. They are also expected to interview with former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, though that one has not been officially announced yet by the team. Over the weekend, they are also expected to have a busy schedule. 2 interviews tomorrow. Commanders run game coordinator Anthony Lynn and former Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. Then on Sunday, Jags offense coordinator Grant Yudinski. For an updated look at all of the candidates, we do have a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. Also coming up this weekend on Sunday, we got the championship games in the NFL. AFC Championship up first at 3, New England at Denver. Then at 6:30, it's the NFC Championship, Seahawks hosting the Rams. Again, these are on Sunday, and Westwood One's coverage can be heard right here on WGR. For the Sabres, they are off today. They did have practice. No Rasmus Dahlin on the ice, but head coach Lindy Ruff said he is confident Dahlin will play tomorrow at the Islanders, with today more or less a maintenance day. Game time at 1, pregame at noon tomorrow, both right here on WGR. And in college hoops, UB men, they host UMass tonight at 7. That's going to be over on the Bet 1520. And then coming up in just a moment here, the Bonnies, they are hosting number 24 ranked St. Louis. That game is over on ESPN2. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
I may sit up here, I'm a nice guy, I smile, I do all those things, but all of our problems that we need to solve can be solved through violence. Yeah, they want to legislate it out of the game, but we play defensive football. And in defensive football, at some point, you draw a line in the sand and you say, I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to stick my helmet under this guy's chin, and I'm going to set the edge. I'm going to violently take the ball away. And that's what we need to do, with a steely-eyed focus, with resolve, with resiliency, and we're going to stop people. And I'm determined, we're all determined for that to happen.
It is one of 8 reported candidates the Bills are interviewing for their vacancy. That's Anthony Weaver. Sounds like he's ready to go. He's ready to hit you.
He's ready to hurt some people. Yeah, it is good. They're in Florida doing this because you often will hear, right. You get the guy you want. Didn't this happen with Rex Ryan? Right? They're on the yacht, I think, and it's like, don't let them leave.
And you can't leave because it's on a boat.
It's on a boat. If they were meeting here, there's a chance that they could be trapped with the wrong guy. Like, you
can't leave because of the weather.
We did the interview, right? We did the interview, and everyone's like, yeah, this isn't the guy. This isn't the guy. The guy walks out, and it's like there's a foot of snow against the doors of One Bills Drive. Like, I can't leave. Like, damn it.
The opposite.
Do we have to hire you now?
From don't let him out of the building to I can't leave the building.
Get him out of the building. We don't want him to
get him out of the building.
If he's here for any longer, we have to make him coach. Those are the rules. I know those aren't the rules. I'm just saying. I'm being cute about the weather. Be careful out there.
I just went out there. It's very cold.
It's very cold, and it's supposed to get pretty. There's already like stuff getting canceled for Monday, because Sunday is supposed to get pretty ugly here.
I went to my car during the break to get clothes because I have an outing tonight. It's a little bit formal.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to have to put these clothes on where they're ice cold.
Understandable.
So thought, I didn't really want to wear them during the day.
All day.
All
right.
day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing.
Right.
It's very cold out.
Yes.
Here is Jim with us. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Great, Jim. Thanks for calling us.
The gentleman that called before the break that talked about listening for 40 years and how he really enjoys your show. You know what? At our house, it's great. You get out of work. My daughter loves the show too. You get out of work and get home. I turn on your show, cook dinner. My wife watches The Real Housewives or wherever the heck she watches it, and it's really entertaining, guys. You're funny. I'm laughing the whole time, except for some of the stuff that really sucks for this last week. Well, I was wondering, as a point, if the Bills were going to go in the direction of Brian Daboll, what do you think they would do for defensive coordinator? I mean, is there any relationships with people that would be good, or because that's the main issue. I mean, like you guys have said, 33 points in the playoffs over and over again. You just can't have it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea who he might have in mind for that. But
I'm glad we're big with the.
Could be somebody interesting.
I'm glad we're big with the dogs. It means a lot.
That could have been Margot. That could have been my dog.
They're big with the dogs.
I don't know why Margot's at Jim's house, but
yeah. It's listen. It's something that definitely comes up in all seriousness in the interviews, right? That's a big. Who are you bringing with you? All right, what's your coaching staff look like? Let's get the book out. Tell me what we're going to do here. Like if you're our guy, can you get this guy? Can you get that guy? Whatever. It very well could be a situation. It depends on how everything shakes out and what is available to some of these candidates, right? But maybe the Bills end up really liking Lou Anarumo, but they don't like him for their head coach. And Lou Anarumo talks to everybody else that is interested in talking to him and doesn't land one of those jobs. He could. Maybe he has to. He might be under contract. I don't know. With Indianapolis because he just got there, so he probably just goes back there. But somebody whose contract is up, you maybe make a space for him. Like it's one of the reasons why you just talk to all these people because you just never know who's going to be connected to whom. Maybe they really like one of these candidates. Like I'm saying, Anarumo might be a bad example because, again, I think he might be tied to Indy if he doesn't get a head coaching job. But someone who is available in that way, you talk to Brian Daboll and you mention to him, hey, we really liked this guy. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, I know that guy. My, this or that, I got some connection. Let me see if I can make that happen. And then that enhances that guy's standing as your head coach. And you get... because you're getting a guy that you liked, but just maybe not enough to make him your head coach. But I don't have none of us have access to every candidate's depth charts to know who they're going to bring with them.
Wade.
How
great would that be? Let's get Wade back.
Run it back.
Come on. He's still out there chirping.
Phillip Rivers and Wade.
Love it. He's out there chirping.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. Has the game passed him by? I think that would be really, really fun. Joe is next. Hi, Joe.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
So, if we go back to Wednesday and you look at that press conference, I think we can all agree it was somewhat of a debacle. We're the laughingstock of the NFL and the sports world for a day, and they'll move on to a new story. But what Terry Pegula said was 100% accurate. We hit the playoff wall. That's what happened. And these thousands of people that are signing petitions, what would have happened a week earlier if Trevor Lawrence drives down the field and we lose that playoff game because of a decision not to kneel and bleed the clock? Everyone would have been calling for McDermott's head. My point is it's not one game that is going to make or break someone getting hired or fired. It was the tipping point. The Denver game was a tipping point, and Terry didn't do a great job of articulating that, but it was a tipping point of why he moved on. It's because we hit the wall, and we weren't getting over the hump, and it was time to make a change. I think most people agree. People can disagree with the change that was made, but it is what it is, and it's time to move forward. You look at the coaches that they're interviewing, a wide range of inexperience, young guys, old guys, defensive guys, offensive guys. Hopefully they go the offensive route, which it seems like they're bringing in more of the offensive guys. But to me, I've been thinking about it. Dable was my initial number one guy, but you dive into his numbers, and has he really done anything other than be successful because he had a generational quarterback for a few years? Everywhere he's been, his offensive has been terrible. You look at what he did in New York, it was a debacle. So who's the best guy? I don't know. I like McDaniels. He's a little quirky, but I just want a guy that's going to get us over the hump. And to be honest with you, I honestly don't care who it is. And if it's Phillip Rivers, if Josh Allen rolls his ankle, can Phillip Rivers call his own number and sign himself to the active roster? I don't know. I've never seen that before, but I'll just just want to say thank you guys for what you do.
Okay.
Enjoy listening to you, and go Bills.
Thank you, Joe. We've been watching this golf today.
Yeah.
And I brought up the name Blades Brown.
Yeah.
Who's putting on 18 to shoot like 59. He's 18.
That's why I've never heard of him.
No. Yes, that's right.
Right.
I just saw a graphic. He's 18.
I didn't follow. Was he playing in the Porter Cup last summer?
Probably.
Maybe. I mean, right? I mean, that's
unless he hates the Porter Cup, probably yes.
Right.
But that's like barely. It's a freshman in college.
Yeah.
I think I just saw that. I hope I'm right. 18.
Yeah.
He's got like a 3-foot putt. I'm not sure if it's for birdie or par, but it might be for like, I don't know, 58 maybe even. They're in birdie for 59. There it is. This tournament is not serious. I mean, 30 under is going to win this tournament.
Yeah, because the lead. He's 17 under, and it's he's about to finish the second round.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's got a short putt for the lead.
Unless they
over Scheffler.
Unless they have to like start dodging mountain lions on Saturday and Sunday, I imagine
Wow, what an image.
They're probably going to do all right.
This is the guy. Blades Brown. Blades Brown.
Blades Brown.
Blades Brown. There he is.
I got a new Maverick McNeely.
He's got a short putt.
Don't ask me why.
For 59.
I hear last year for the first time the name Maverick McNeely. I'm like, get out of here,
Brian. Who's Blades Brown?
I don't want to. Maverick McNeely.
Enough about him.
What?
You're stealing his moment.
What is happening?
Blades Brown's moment. This is Blades Brown's moment.
The newsman from Family Guy name you? Like, how in the world do you get the name Maverick McNeely?
Well, it's catchy.
Blades Brown, though. Yeah.
Well,
sure. now
he's inside this guy.
I don't want to go to a commercial until he putts for 59.
I agree.
I want, but this other guy's got like 6 feet, and he's going to do that thing where they stand over the ball with their feet apart, and then his caddy's going to do it. And it's going to take like an hour.
Oh.
Just
sometimes.
putt it.
Sometimes. Get you a Blades Brown update shortly.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to make it.
Here's Rob with us. Hello, Rob.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Great.
Hey, I just want to tell you guys 2 things. Number one, I'm in southwest Missouri in the middle of Chiefs country, and you guys are a breath of fresh air. I discovered your channel through YouTube a couple months ago. I listened to all you guys. You guys are incredible. I wish I lived a whole lot closer, but I just wanted to say that first off.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Secondly, I was thinking, I've heard so many rumors that the organization is really high on Joe Brady. And so I thought, and hear me here for a second, what if top brass doesn't want him to be the head coach, but they don't want him to take a chance of tarnishing his career by the Bills simply saying, hey, we're going to go another direction or whatnot. So let's interview him. Make him seem more appealing. Other teams are going to look at it and think, well, if the Bills have an open spot and they're going to interview him, maybe we may have something here. Let's interview him, and perhaps he has a better chance of landing a job as a head coach somewhere else, therefore opening up the OC for us while we don't actually need to truly pursue him as a head coach for us. I mean, it's just something I was thinking, wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
It seems unnecessarily underhanded. Like, his reputation would be what it is, probably regardless of whether the Bills decided to give him an interview.
And he missed the putt.
Blades Brown.
He'll tap in for 60. He's been loser. He's had head coaching interviews already. So the Bills don't need to prop him up.
There's no need for a scheme here.
So don't work so hard.
Blades Brown, that's a bad miss. Outside the hole.
Yeah.
From 4 feet, 5 feet? You're missing golf, aren't you? 60 for Blades Brown, 18 years old. On tour.
28 on the front.
28 on the front. I told you.
Oh, my God.
When you got here, I said he's 8 under through 7.
Wow.
He was 8 under through 7.
Sometimes the stuff that you say, just blows right by me. I heard you say it, but I didn't know what it meant. You know what I mean? Like I heard the words and just nodded. Like, thanks, Mike. You're talking about curling again?
Hey,
no,
the Scotty starts in an hour and 15 minutes.
I didn't realize the guy shot 28 on the front. That's ridiculous. I almost just swore.
He shot 28 on the front and finished par. On the front.
Right.
Just that putt, though, it's going to haunt him
the rest of his life.
He's tied with Scotty Scheffler for first place. Cool story. It's not golf season, really. Well, technically it is, but
he's going to go 76-81 on the weekend.
No, I wouldn't shoot that high on this course. It looks like Looks pretty playable. The course is defenseless today out there in La Quinta. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, back after this timeout on WGR. Well, we are, sadly or not, transitioning out of the football season here. The 2 games Sunday, the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. College is over. No more Thursday nights or Monday nights, of course. What to watch? And the Sabres are off tonight if you were thinking about them. There is an interesting sporting event tonight. I'm not sure, though, where to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about the AHL Outdoor Classic?
I do not.
Well, I'm glad, because you're going to like what you find out.
Okay.
The AHL Outdoor Classic is tonight in Hastings, Minnesota, between Milwaukee and Iowa. And they have special uniforms. And is expected to be negative 10 degrees.
Right. I was going to say it's going to be righteous wicked cold.
Possibly the coldest hockey game ever played.
Yeah.
Tonight, like professionally. Between Milwaukee and I've been to the arena a few times. I thought maybe it was like minus 10 in there. But no, I guess not. I guess it's never been that cold in there.
Yeah, that tracks.
Milwaukee Admirals.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've been to a Milwaukee Admirals game in my life. And the Iowa Wild. Oh, there you go. Minnesota Wild. Iowa Wild.
Of course.
That doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Iowa Wild. Not even, it's hard to say.
I can tell you it's not on NHL Network. First place I went and looked on my Fubo app was to see if it's there. But no. So now I'm searching my ESPN Plus account to see if there's any chance that would be
I'm sorry.
available.
Minus 10? Who's going to that?
Well, I mean, it's Minnesota. People are used to it.
I could see wanting to go to it.
Yeah.
But there comes a point
where
it's minus 10, and it's nighttime, and it's like 3 hours sitting outside. I think I'm a no on that one.
I'm a no on ESPN Plus. Do not see it listed under just general hockey. This is tonight, you're saying, right?
Tonight.
Yeah.
7?
So I don't know where. Should I look at Amazon Prime?
Yeah, no. I don't think you need to do that.
It's probably not going to be there. I'm going to guess it's not there.
I don't know where it is. But
yeah, that's too. You'd think that would
that's
be
rough.
You would expect it to be somewhere.
Yes.
You know, like I mean, what does NHL Network got going on tonight that they don't have it? I don't understand.
Is there an NHL game?
No, there isn't.
Well.
So I don't know.
Then is it a documentary about Miracle on Ice?
Yeah, don't know.
By the way, there's a new one of those coming.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not there. You know, ESPN's got a game tonight, Tampa and Chicago. There's a new what?
Miracle on Ice documentary coming out. I think maybe next week.
Okay.
I think Netflix.
I didn't know that.
I'm not positive of that, but I'll watch it. I'm a sure thing when it comes to Miracle on Ice documentaries. Sure, absolute lock.
All right.
Every time.
I think I would like to watch it. I just, I'm going to have to finish up Homeland first.
Homeland.
I'm so current. Yeah, I'm watching a 6-year-old show.
Yeah, but you're blazing through it. It seems.
I'm halfway through season 5. So
I'm banging out these Traitors episodes, by the way.
3 more seasons to go.
Traitors UK. And then I realized there's Traitors Australia, which I will probably watch, Traitors Australia. And then what shows up on my list last night, Traitors New Zealand. Does every country have a Traitors series now? And I think it's good if it does. Where's Canada in this? Let's get to work.
How different is Traitors Australia going to be from this is spoken
You had
like,
to ask.
Spoken like someone who's never been to this part of the world, because I'm sure the cultures of Australia and New Zealand are vastly different. It's just like, to me, they're just down there.
I don't know.
So it would be the same.
I will probably be able to tell you at some point, but Traitors UK is hardly different from Traitors US. Just accents.
Accents.
Yeah, it's hardly different.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the same tasks, and it's the same castle, I think. Different hosts, different people.
Well, they should try a little harder to make them different.
I love it.
All right.
Bring on the Traitors.
What do I know, though? I'd never watched it.
No, you wouldn't like it. I think you would not like it. We'll get back to your calls after the update. The Bills coaching search. Phillip Rivers, by the way, and Mike McDaniel. I was going to be happy to talk about him.
And then we got Phillip Rivers dropped in our laps today. Yeah.
Interesting. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Happy Friday. This is WGR.
Interviews for the vacant Bills head coaching position. Today, there are expected to be 2 interviews. We do know officially one of them, that is former quarterback Phillip Rivers. The other is expected to be with former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. We're still waiting, though, on official word on that. Then over the weekend, they're expected to have a busy schedule. 2 interviews on Saturday. Commanders run game coordinator Anthony Lynn and former Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. And then on Sunday, Jags offense coordinator Grant Yadinsky. And for an updated look on all of the candidates, we do have a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. Also coming up this weekend, 2 games on Sundays. It is Championship Sunday in the NFL. The AFC Championship at 3, New England at Denver. Then at 6:30, the NFC Championship, Seahawks hosting the Rams. Again, both games on Sunday. And Westwood One's coverage can be heard right here on WGR. To the Sabres, just practiced today. No Rasmus Dahlin on the ice, but head coach Lindy Ruff did say he is confident Dahlin will play, with today expected to more or less be a maintenance day. Tomorrow, they are at the Islanders. Puck drop at 1, pregame at noon. Both, of course, right here on WGR. Then in college hoops, UB men, they host UMass. Tip-off at 7. That game over on the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Thursday, today, yeah, it's Friday.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
We so excited, we gonna have a ball today. Tomorrow is Saturday.
I'm itching inside. My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I took Deborah, went to the liquor store. I loaded up with alcohol,
AHL Outdoor Classic.
more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Other like lower tiers of stuff, but yeah, Prime. So funny. Like, should I look at Prime? No, don't bother. Okay, Twitter.
There it is.
Twitter informs us. Yes, and it's already started. I don't know if it got kicked a little earlier, hoping it would be not as cold as it might be, 3 hours from now. But anyway, if you're home listening to us, you've been watching us on YouTube, and you want to get a look at an AHL outdoor game in minus 10 degree type conditions, now's your chance.
There you go.
If you got Prime.
2, the Bills' special teams coordinator is leaving for Miami. Chris Tabor leaves for the Dolphins, which is allowed when your head coach position is open. So Chris Tabor leaves from the Bills to the Dolphins. Any opinion at all?
No.
Not me either. Not really. Special teams coaches to me are funny.
Fare thee well, Chris Tabor.
Because when there's ever a play by a fumble recovery, a big return, they put the camera right on the special teams, and they're often very high energy guys, and they're running down the sideline and just slapping guys,
chest bumping, and the whole deal.
Yeah, and I don't know.
This guy did have a little twist that Sal talked about it when Ray Davis had that big return. I mean, it came in a losing effort, but how they started using Reggie Gilliam, so one return man with more of a lead blocker. He found a little wrinkle there that helped them get a Pro Bowl kick returner, all pro,
yes. First team all
pro kick returner. So that's not nothing.
No, it's right. Not saying he wasn't effective, but just special teams coaches, you often have that.
Yeah.
And, maybe they had something to do with what just happened on the field, or maybe they didn't. But they're pretty wound up usually, it seems. Let's go to Bill next. Hi, Bill.
Hi, guys. I'm in agreement with you, Mike. I can't wait for the idea of buying capris and wearing aviators. I'm all in on my big day. Thing in Michael that nobody else has from an offensive perspective.
Yeah, man, we can't
Sorry,
really
Bill.
tell what you're saying.
Just the phone connection was bad there.
McDaniel, I think I heard.
Yeah, right. He's talking about McDaniel, and he said something about capri pants, like he wants to buy capri pants. I'm not. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I have these joggers that I guess I could roll up and make them look like capri pants. I mean, I could pull it off. No, I could do it. I don't think I could pull it off. It's not my look. I said today when we first started talking, I've been more critical of him as a head coach almost all along. But I've always liked. I like someone that's not in the mold, and he definitely is that. Sale has referenced numerous times his backstory is very compelling. Like he's recovering addict, like various substances and challenges that he had in his life that he's managed to get over, and I respect the hell out of that.
Also, what's the story of his first getting into coaching? His mom.
Not sure I know this.
He was like an. I want to make sure. I think he was like an intern with the Broncos or something, and his mom started to see one of the coaches or executives, and so he was kind of like in with the Broncos, and then he ended up on their staff and went from there.
Yeah.
McDaniel.
Yeah, I don't know that part of his story. So I've said it this way. I was rooting for him as much as somebody that cares and roots for the Bills way more than, the Miami Dolphins are like our sworn mortal enemies. So, wanting him to succeed is a little awkward, but I like the idea of someone that's not from the classic mold. But I was always kind of skeptical whether it would work. Could he pull it off? Can his style come across to enough of a room full of 60 or 70 football players who are used to a certain style of leadership? Can that work? And, there were good times in Miami. There was some discipline problems more last year than this past year. 2 seasons in a row, I thought he was going to get fired. Probably both years, I might have thought he's going to get fired in the season. And they finished strongly both years. That's to his credit. I definitely like his mind offensively. I mean, he might be the top of the list. And it's not just, because he had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I mean, he wants speed, but they ran the ball like crazy.
Yep.
So there's a fit, I think, there. I just don't know about the rest of it. I still don't know about him standing up in front of a room full of guys that are used to having Sean McDermott coach them. I just think that's a big departure. As I say, it couldn't work.
I think the one tough thing is that the Bills beat Miami so many times. Like we're getting the guy that we ran over pretty much. I like McDaniel a lot. The story of his getting in, I guess, with the Broncos is even better than I thought. From Wikipedia, it's that he was a child getting autographs at training camp one time, and he had a hat that he lost. And then somebody from the Broncos bought him a replacement, and along the way apparently ended up marrying his mom. So that's the
okay.
That's
and then he
all of how he got into coaching.
Going to work with stepdad, and like the rest is history.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's who you know.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. Here's Steve next. Hi, Steve.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. Mike, real quick, are you caught up on U.S. traders?
No, I'm one behind.
Backfit.
I didn't watch last night.
Me too. Okay. So did you see? I don't want to spoil it if you're out there and you're not caught up. Streaming on Peacock. The secret trader reveal. Are you up on that?
I'd rather not get into it because maybe somebody listening is behind too.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm sorry. I don't mean to divulge. I just want to say I have no evidence to back this up. I'm just going off of how I feel here. This is like a vibes thing. I think as an older millennial, elder millennial, I'm very much scar-tissued and calcified from the generation of the drought. And it sounds like, if you start reading stuff, that, if McDermott is speaking truth to power and says, look, man, I'm not making it work here with the players I have or whatever, some version of that, and that's a problem for the owner, and then he sides with, reportedly, allegedly, the guy that's going to kind of sweet-talk him and tell him to what he wants to hear. That sounds like, to me, another aging owner that's aligning himself with the cadre, a coterie, a cabal of shadowy, powerful men that are just working there forever and have no accountability like the drought era. And I know it's not fair entirely because Bean does is available to the media. You know what I mean? It's not entirely fair. They have a winning record.
But I know what you mean. Like you're saying it more strongly than I have, but it's that sort of I use the phrasing "I'm shook" by the way that all unfolded because I feel like very much so. I know that Terry Pegula told a story, about the locker room, and that is, it's heavy. It's hard to hear, maybe, but I feel like the story goes beyond that, and it's being sort of in his ear watching the games, and I don't know, Pegula being skeptical about someone trying to pull a power play on him. I mean, maybe the best power play you can pull is when the guy doesn't realize a power play is being pulled. And I don't think Pegula's above getting got in something like that. So I'm also a little worried about how it all went down. That is not to say, though, like, do I want to have everything be okay with me? I can understand feeling like we need to try something different. It's, people have been saying it for 3 years, if not longer. So, another year where that happens, but it's just, Pegula makes me nervous. That's it. I just don't know that he's really got it. I think he can fall sway pretty quickly. And I don't say that because of how he described his decision here, because I don't buy for a second that he was not thinking of firing Sean McDermott when he walked in that room and saw Josh and Deion Dawkins and everyone else being emotional. I think it was. I'm more inclined to buy 5 weeks ago. Everybody soured because McDermott, frankly, in a meeting told them, we don't have the guys. I need more help, and you're putting me on a hell of a spot here with this roster.
There's not much he can do about it at that point.
That's right.
Or anybody.
But Pegula defending the roster the way he did, we had practice squad guys playing. That means that Brandon Beane's done a great job. Not exactly.
It means they have a practice squad.
Right. And
injuries.
Yeah. So what? I'm Terry Pegula makes me nervous. The hockey team should be a shining example of why. And he got here, he hired Rex Ryan, and that was a joke. It turned into a joke. I mean, it seemed like a good enough idea that I liked it at the time, but it turned into a joke. And then he hired Sean McDermott. And who the hell was Sean McDermott? And it worked out fabulously for everyone involved. Is he going to be a part of a thing that gets that right again? I sure hope so. It took him 14 years to figure out the hockey team.
And we're calling that figured out?
I mean, it's
good right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything fluky about what they're doing.
I don't either. I'm very much into it.
They're
I can't promise you I'll watch a 1 o'clock game on a Saturday, but I'm very much into it. I'll definitely be there for that Leaf game, if not tomorrow. Very much into it. Very impressed. So many different interesting elements. You got to love what they are on the blue line, especially at the front of the list. Goalies getting there. You've got Thompson, who didn't have much of a game last night, I would say, but I don't know what his numbers looked like. Didn't really notice him a lot. But top end, you've got talent, and then you've got this Hellenius is very exciting. Ostlund and Benson. Benson taking that hit at the end in the head, that was tough to watch and hear him get booed for. But there's just a lot of interesting pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, the kid line might be the most exciting piece, because if that is sticky, and Hellenius had another, like there were opportunities. Did he hit a post last night? Like he can shoot it, and he can really skate. And the three of them, Owen and I are just having a blast. Like, those guys are not much older than guys Owen played junior hockey with.
No, sure.
Right, so we're watching. Like they show the hockey card of Hellenius. and he's got the little mustache, and the hair is all over the place, and Owen is like, this guy
looks like a dude.
He is perfect. He's like, and he's got like he's one of these. Owen is nerdy like this from again playing all those years he played. The tape job. He's like how they needed a guy that's got like a I'm a sick witch tape job, and there he is.
What do you mean?
He's got like two strands of tape on like near the toe of his blade, and that's it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
what's up with that?
It's just I don't know. It's a hot doggy like I
don't need tape.
I'm good.
Okay.
Move
All
right.
All right.
And Owen
Careful out
he
there.
notices this kind of thing, and that whole line together. Like I'm watching them come on the ice at some point in the third period lesson. I'm imagining them like rolling up to the rink on their BMX bikes and taking off their jean jackets and coming in and like playing. Like that's what they look like on the ice together, the three of them. Of course, Benson has looked like that by himself the whole time.
They're the outsiders.
Like he's
Pony Boy.
He's like.
Which one is Pony Boy? He can't be Hellenist because he's new. He's the newest. He's got to be. Maybe Benson is Pony Boy.
Yeah,
is he the alpha
I think
that he needs to be Pony Boy?
Yeah. Or well. He's like the young guy everybody's protecting. So maybe it is Hellenist.
Interesting. Let's pick the games. What do you think? Do we still do that on this show?
Of course we do.
All right.
Sure, why not?
Picks.
And what if I did do it? Even though I admit to nothing and never will. What does that make me? And I'm not here just defending myself, but all those pickers out there who've been caught. Each and every one of them. Who has to suffer the shame and humiliation because of people like you.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog
Are we not human? If we pick, do we not bleed?
on WGR
I am not an animal.
Sports Radio 550.
Contest is over. Good week for me. Last week I got Houston wrong, but the other three right. And I won some prop bets too. Drake May under was my favorite prop bet of the weekend, and that was a easy win. So with that, I am very confident. Ugh, do I really want to say that about these two games? I will be betting these games. You?
I've gone dark.
No. Okay.
I'm waiting for
You're waiting for the AHL Outdoor
I'm waiting
Classic.
for them to lure me back in.
I see.
I took some time away. I'm waiting for the offers.
I see. I don't hear you talk about it
I'm
anymore.
waiting for them to entice me.
In my car.
Yeah.
I don't hear you talk about it in my car anymore. I like both games. You want to just go one by one? AFC first?
I don't care how we do it.
All
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
I'll take Denver. I don't know. I just don't think it's a huge drop-off at quarterback. Defense, that extra week of rest. And New England is still skating by playing nobody. Kind of. Nobody. Is that... You know what I mean, though.
Well, the only game I got right was Houston, and because I love that. I loved New England in that game because I thought I didn't want to trust C.J. Stroud, and everybody was like, "Oh, come on, 2 weeks in a row." I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was even worse.
He was a disaster. So I also think Denver. There's a lot going around here about Will Campbell can't block one-on-one. He's having a tough time in the playoffs here. And they could be in tough with Denver. So I think I also like them with the points.
4.5?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, the Rams are good.
I'm going to take the Rams.
All right. I just have like 51-3 vibes with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Like just also the extra week, they are just rolling. And I just am not going to be scared of Darnold, I guess. I like at home. Rams will have to win 3 road games to get there. And Seattle is just so locked in and so good. I'll take, and it's only 2.5. I'll be looking for a bigger number there with the Seahawks, just in case I'm right. But I like them as a favorite at home very confidently.
You know me and Matthew Stafford.
I know.
I'm going to go down with the
You
ship.
know me and Sam Darnold. No, you don't. I don't even know what that means. But go Seahawks. Coming up next, our chat with Tyler Dunn, recapping, and Tyler was great today. I mean, just really plugged in on what happened this week and what might be to come for the Bills. So he's always a great guest. GoLongTD.com, Tyler Dunn, for you after a break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on this Friday. Thanks for listening to WGR.
alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. Oh, you seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your time.